It's the postseason, and today, the Florida A&M Rattlers and the Delaware State Hornets kick off the 2000 campaign with championship aspirations. Stay tuned for MEAC College Football Saturdays.
It is hot, it is muggy, it is humid. Dover, Delaware Alumni Stadium as the Delaware State Hornets will host the FAMU Rattlers in the MEAC Football Saturday Game of the Week. Yes, that's the man, Coach Billy Joe, over 200 wins. He's up there, but then there's Ben Blacknall on the other side. It's his debut. Will he win his first game as a head coach ever? We'll find out. Hello, everybody. I'm Ronnie Duncan, and welcome once again to Alumni Stadium for the biggest game of the week, and you're watching it right here on the MEAC Football Game of the Week, MEAC Football Saturday. Let me bring in my broadcast partner this season. He's going to be Mark Gray. And Mark, you talk about an exciting schedule. Folks, we've got 11 games for you, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right here on this station. Mark, let's take a look at that schedule because it's outstanding.
It is a tremendous schedule. Of course, we are going to talk about Florida A&M taking on Delaware State. Then, of course, we've got South Carolina State next week hosting Savannah. But it really jumps off in October, man. We go to Tallahassee for the game of the year, North Carolina A&T and Florida A&M. Then we've got homecoming in Greensboro, and it really don't get no better than that, partner.
And once again, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But more importantly, let's talk about the game today. You talk about two teams perhaps maybe going in opposite directions. When you look at it a year ago, the FAMU Rattlers made it to the semifinals of 1AA playoffs and just missed making it to the finals. But today they take on a very hungry team in Delaware State. What does FAMU have left from last year in that potent offense?
Well, one thing they do have is arguably the most prolific receiver in all of 1AA, Jacquay Nunley. He only needs 41 catches and just under 1,100 yards to break Jerry Rice's mark. We all know how good Rice was, and I believe you talk about a guy that racks up the yards as in run after the catch. That's what Jacquay Nunley is all about.
You know, I talked to him before the game. He said, Ronnie, I'm pumped and excited. But on the other side of the ball, that's a special player. That's a DB that may be right in Mr. Nunley's face. I'm talking about Deshane Dennis, but you know what? He's special because on special teams, he's a groove kind of guy.
Exactly. He did have 5 interceptions last season, but when you talk about Deshane Dennis, it's all about the kickoff return and the opportunity that he gives his team to start with good field position. He averages just over 26 yards per kickoff return. That's going to be a key today. Delaware State has to have good field position in order to contend.
Well, Mark Gray, it's going to be an exciting season. Don't forget 11 exciting games right here on the MEAC Game of the Week. This is MEAC Football Saturday. Kickoff coming up in just a few seconds.
Hello, I'm Charles Harris, Commissioner of the Mideastern Athletics Conference. On behalf of our 3,000 student athletes, our 200,000 alumni, and our 11 member institutions, I'm delighted you've joined us for this telecast. The MEAC is committed to and plays a leadership role in providing high-quality competitive opportunities and experiences for all of our students. Visit our website at meacsports.com to follow your favorite teams, to learn more about us or our member institutions. Thank you.
Football Saturdays 2000 is sponsored in part by USPS, Nike, Xerox, Target, Coca-Cola, U.S. Marine Corps, New Urban Entertainment, Greyhound, Whitnauer, National Car Rental, and U.S. Airways.
And, of course, you can see that is Coach Ben Blacknall on the sideline. But, yes, it is muggy. It is hot, and it is 8 degrees with a 91% humidity. Just moments ago, there was the coin toss. Let's find out who got it. All right, it was the FAMU Rattlers getting the coin toss, and that should be quite interesting because they're going to be great. Now let's go down to our sideline reporter, Donna Hopkins.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Blacknall. And, Coach, you're in your first season. What was the one thing? It's a lot of excitement building out here today. It's a big game. It's a conference game. What was the one thing that you told your team just before coming out here today?
Well, I told them to go out and have fun. You know, work hard. We've been in a long training camp, and we've been working pretty hard. And I told them if they have done the right thing, that when they come out here today, they could have a lot of fun.
How will you slow down the golf offense?
Well, I don't know. We'll find a way to get it done. I couldn't tell you right now. We're going to just have to find a way. I hope we can do it without having to put 12 or 13 guys on the field.
Any tricks that you could tell us about today?
No. We got to execute the fundamentals, and we're going to have a chance to win this game.
Good luck, guy.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, you know what? I was talking to Coach Blacknell earlier today, and he said that the strength of this team was their offense. They're going to need to control the clock today. Now, back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, thanks a lot, Don. And as you can see, Aaron Quinn, he's going to be the guy giving the kickoff for the Hornets of Delaware State. And set to receive, you see that man, Tabrian Turner. Here's a young man that can definitely get it done. As a matter of fact, Coach Billy Joe says, let him catch the ball in this early excitement. We're about to start it off, the MEAC College Football Saturday, right here for you. The kick is up and it's taken in. That was Isaac Bruce on the kick. He gets a little small return. Now we get an opportunity to see the starting lineups. I'm talking about the U.S. Postal Service starting lineups on offense for the FAMU Rattlers. And look at that, Derek Gay. And, of course, in the middle of the center, Terry Logan. Here's a young man that's going to do some interesting things. Also, the starting lineup, Jacquay Nunley. You're going to hear a lot about him throughout the game. It's going to be great. Isaac Brown. All right, it's 1st and 10. And there's the quarterback, Quinn Gray, taking over for Jawan Sider. You know, last year, this young man had a heck of a season, and he's ready to get it going now. To give to the running back, it's a gain of about 5 yards.
And there's your gamesmanship, Ronnie. Everybody expecting FAMU to spread it out. They come out running the ball.
All right, now it's time for our U.S. Postal Service starting lineup for the defense for the Delaware State Hornets, and they are ready to put the mighty sting on you. And when you look at this defense, you know it is a tough one. Zachary Dunn, look out for him. All right, to give the number 6. That was Kelsey Lourdes. Now back to more of that defense for those Hornets of Delaware State. They continue to get a good job done. Like I said, Zachary Dunn, David Carter, David Hughes, and look at that at the right end, Greg Jackson. He will play a very strong game. Third down and 1 to go, and Lourdes goes up the middle. He may not have gotten the first down. We'll wait for the officials.
Well, here's a story for you already. We've had 3 offensive plays from the green and white. We haven't seen the ball go in the air yet. You talk about catching the opposition off guard. Looks like that's what Billy Joe is trying to do early on.
First and 10, and you talk about receiving. That was Isaac Bruce. Isaac Brown, that is, on the reception. And that's good enough for a first down.
But I think it's coming back, Ronnie. You might have had Brown coming down the near sideline, pushing off to get himself free. And it happened right in front of the Delaware State coaches, and they were all over it. We've got our first major MEAC Summit meeting of the season, Ronnie. See, watch, it's a silent snap count. This is a strike. I was wondering where this pass was going, but a nice shot right in between the 2 defensive backs. Brown hauls it in.
All right, there you see, there was an offside penalty. Our referees are Artie Cobb, umpire Dwight Pettiford. Line judge is Tom Reese. Our head linesman is Daniel Shelton. Field judge is Chris Brown.
The receiving team went out of bounds, caught the ball. He's an ineligible receiver. It's a loss to down against Florida.
Side judge is Moses Norman. Back judge is Eric McCoy.
And sometimes, if you're a Delaware State fan, you're kind of hoping that Florida A&M's high-powered, sophisticated pass attack is a bit rusty. That looked to me like a rusty play that time, Ronnie.
That'll make it 1st and 10 once again from the 27. Quinn Gray rolling out. Had a receiver, Jacquay Nunley, but the defense was right there in your face, and that was Kevin Hanks on the defense. Jacquay Nunley, interesting story there. Mark, here's a young man that is on top to perhaps get some of Jerry Rice's record.
Well, I tell you, man, for my money, he reminds me a lot. The fans in Florida talk about Riddell Anthony in the NFC Central. To me, Jacquay Nunley is a reincarnation of Riddell Anthony. A little bit undersized, is tremendous after the catch. You got to haul those passes in, though. Again, opening game rust.
2nd and 10. Quinn Gray back to pass. He was looking for Nunley one more time, but on defense, There he was, the Shane Dennis. We talked about him at the start of the game, and Jacque Nunley goes to the sideline. Not very often do you see this young man walk away without getting a reception on the first series. Coach Ben Blacknall knows all about defense down at South Carolina State, and he, of course, was a big backup to Willie Jeffries at South Carolina State as well as Howard.
Well, you've got to hope for positives in a game like this, and that was a positive defensive series. They got a break because it seemed like the momentum was kind of stifled at the end of that penalty, Ronnie. But great defensive stand for Delaware State. One thing about it, when you're trying to pull off the upset, it starts with confidence. They got to be a little bit more confident right now at stopping the Gulf Coast offense.
The punt is in the air. Punt's a little short. Lands just around the 25-yard line. All right, we're coming right back with much more of MEAC College Football Saturday right here as the Family Rattlers are taking on the Delaware State Hornets. This is just here on the campus of Delaware State Alumni Stadium. No score, 13:08 remaining in the first quarter. It's the Delaware State Hornets on offense going up against the Family Rattlers defense. And the quarterback is Rashawn Matthews, one of the most prolific passes in Delaware State history. But there's a penalty on the play.
Well, they're switching back to the wing tee. That's something that we didn't have a chance to get into, and I'll talk a little bit more about that once we get the official call.
They call it wings and things, and the man carrying the ball was Braylon King.
Over 600 yards rushing last year. Definitely the anchor to their rushing attack. But see, when you've been in a pro set for 3 years, you're going to have offensive miscues.
Offense, 5-yard, replay, first down.
And now it's time to take a look at our U.S. Postal Service starting lineup offensively. And as you can see, the young man to look forward to is the right guard, Marcus Howard, for the Delaware State Hornets. Then, of course, number 22, Galen King. Braylon can go. Matthews with the pass to King. And King gets about 3 yards on the play.
Matthews is a phenomenal talent. You were talking about him being one of the most prolific passers. Delaware State struggled for the last couple of years, but he has definitely been one of the MEAC's elite.
Has an opportunity to break all the records offensively for a quarterback if he has an outstanding senior season for Del State. Great passing once again and leaving him out there. That was Tommy Mem, one of his favorite receivers, but the defense was all over.
Boy, I thought there was a little bit of movement early in the interior of that offensive front. But again, watch this pass. You talk about rusty passes. You know, this is just a quarterback that doesn't get his feet set up and he throws a bad pass. That's a medicine ball. That'll land you in the trainer's room seeking a lot of medical attention all season.
Well, number 47, Anthony Kohler, will give you a lot of attention. He's been all over the place, as well as you saw the extra hit by Donnell Vickers. Matthews back to pass again. He going deep this time. And just outside the hands. Right there. Could you believe that one? They thought they had a reception with Darian McCants, but no good for number 5.
Looked like it was a bit of a post corner route. Let's take a look at it right quick here, Ronnie. A little post corner. He breaks out, but when he breaks off to the corner, watch right here. There are 3 Rattler defenders around him. Now, it would have taken a great pass, and it was a great pass, but outstanding defensive coverage that time. It's a case of strength in numbers. More often than not, when there are 3 defenders around, the one receiver isn't going to haul it in, unless his name is Randy Moss.
It's time to punt right down. Anthony Quinn doing the punting. Quinn's punt. It's going to land around the 29-yard line.
So I don't think that Florida A&M right now will go back to trying to establish the run. They saw that they could have some success with the first 3 running plays. Now I think it's time, as Steve Spurrier likes to call it, pitch and catch.
You know, it's quite interesting that both teams are taking a different contrast in the style that we both know them for. Obviously, a lot of people thought with this new wings and things offense generated by Coach Ben Blacknall in the Delaware State Hornets that they would not be throwing the ball as much. But on their first series, we saw the mix as well as the run and throw. Then when you look at FAMU, you expect the pass. In the shotgun formation, It's Quinn Gray, but he keeps the ball going up the yards. And he lands around the 35-yard line, just short of a first down.
Ronnie, that's the thing that made Jawan Sider so dangerous last season. And, you know, Quinn Gray taking a page out of his book. Straight up quarterback draw, nothing fancy. Look back, bring the pocket, let it collapse, and just take it up the middle. He's a big kid. He can take shots, but he's smart. He knows that playing time for quarterbacks at FAMU is a tedious position at best. And there's Nunnally.
Jacque Nunnally, but he's brought down for a loss. And once again, that Hornets swarming defense all over him. And the young man that was there was Deshane Dennis getting in the backfield. We talked about the cornerback and his exceptional speed, Mark. But what I enjoyed about him is how he was able to get into the backfield. You see him, the senior out of Wilmington, Delaware, a young man who says, hey, this is my senior season. I'm going for it all.
He wears number 21, so you got to have a bit of an attitude to be out on the corner wearing that number.
Once again, the Rattlers back in the shotgun. Quinn Gray going out for the quick pass to Jacque Nunnally, but he's short of a first down, brought down by number 31. I'm talking about Richard Mason.
I think he got just enough for the first down. Let's take a look at it again. Little safe quarterback-friendly route. About three-step drop, quickly out to the flat. So we've seen what Florida A&M is going to do. You know Nunnally's a marked man, so you're going to move him around in various positions. He was in the backfield where he is right now. So you never know where you're going to see number 85, and that's how you hide your star receiver that everybody is trying to take out of your game. He's a single setback in his spread formation right now.
He gave the Jacque Nunnally. Nunnally gets about 7 yards on that play, possibly even 8.
Boy, I tell you, that's rolling the dice. As he's 5'10", he might be at 180, but I think this one is coming back on account of a holding call in the middle of the FAMU offensive line. But again, look at the way that Florida A&M is just moving Nunnally around. And we talk about running after the catch. He hits the hole extremely well. I am shocked that a receiver who's used to playing outside, trying to force people to miss him as he gets off the line of scrimmage, is able to run the football up through the middle.
But do you really want your star player perhaps getting an injury, having so many running plays? You know what I liked about that play, though, was number 67. I'm talking about James Agnew.
In front of the line, go back from the spot, walk 10 yards, first down.
All right, you heard it. Anytime you make those mistakes, it's sort of funny. We were talking with some of the officials prior to the game, wanting to know basically how many penalties are basically called in a college football game. Obviously, first game of the year, you're going to get a lot of penalties.
Well, they said that the average is around 8 penalties per game, and you just had to look at Jimmy Joe. Florida A&M, for those of you who are checking out the Rattlers for the first time, head coach Billy Joe coaches from the press box. He sends the offensive and defensive calls down to his brother Jimmy Joe, and it almost got them to a national championship game last year. And that was a big source of concern for the Rattler faithful when Billy Joe first arrived in Tallahassee 6 years ago.
All right, there's another short pass, but this time knocked out of bounds. And you talk about a crushing hit. That was Andre Brooks. And on the reception, it was...
Looks like DeMar Bowe that time, number 84.
DeMar Bowe, exactly.
You know, one of those 5'11", 180-pound guys, gets quickly out into the flat. We talked about racking up the yards, RAC, run after the catch. And watch this stick coming up right here. This is a big-time early season bang.
Darryl Cooper with the big bang.
Bowe in there again on the reception, Ronnie. Just working the flats right now. Short, quick, quarterback-friendly routes. Get your quarterback some confidence. And again, you talk about a guy like Quinn Gray. His last pass last season was an interception that ended the season for the Snakes.
3rd and 3, and that'll be a first down. And he's gone. Still on his feet. Finally brought down inside the 17-16-yard line. Whoa, Mark Gray. You talk about a heck of a play. That young man was trying to get it. I'm talking Kelsey Lourdes, and you were telling me about him earlier. You said, Ronnie, he's going to be the key to the game. What a big play for him.
Well, Lourdes is the guy that emerged from the spring as a starting fullback, and you just watch him explode through the middle, and he found a second jet. And had it not been for Carlos Moore, a freshman defensive back, hauling him down from his shirt tail, he'd have been off to the races for 6.
Quinn Gray going back to pass, finds Jacque Nunnally inside the 10. He made it to the 6-yard line.
And that's Nunnally personified right there. Safe, L square in route, sets right in the center of the field, hauls it in, and it breaks a tackle and picks up another 5 yards. Those are things you can't teach, Ronnie.
Once again, that'll make it 1st and 10. The ball looks like it's around the 6-yard line. On the keeper, touchdown! It is Mr. Quinn Gray, touchdown, 6 points for the FAMU Rattlers. 6-yard touchdown.
The mighty Quinn Gray getting it done by land and by air on this drive, Ronnie, showing a lot of confidence. Field generalship, you know, the drive starts with a quarterback draw. It ends with a quarterback draw. So Billy Joe is opening up early, showing the versatility with all the skill players that he had. We saw Nunley in the backfield. We've seen Gray running and passing. Boy, now, in terms of adjustments, if you're in the Delaware State defensive booth, you got to figure out, what am I going to do now? They've shown us everything, and pretty much everything was effective on that drive.
You know what's impressive about that? When you talk to Coach Billy Joe, he'll tell you that Quinn Gray has the strongest arm he's ever coached.
That's amazing. And we'll talk a lot more about Quinn Gray. He's trying to become the first starter who is a Florida A&M recruit to start an entire season since Billy Joe has gotten there.
Juan Vasquez with the point after, and it's good. And it is 7-0. The Rattlers of FAMU at 8:53 in the first quarter. There's much more excitement on the MEAC College Football Saturday. Once again, we're talking about great football action, MEAC. 8 minutes and 36 seconds. We lost a little audio there. We apologize, but we're back on board with you. And we've got a 7-0 score. And the reason why, I'm talking Quinn Gray. 6 yards up the gut, right up the middle. And that offensive line for the FAMU Rattlers has been impressive early going.
But so was Mr. Deshaun Dennis on that kickoff return as well to give Delaware State good working field position. Swarming Rattler defense that time.
That was William Ross carrying the ball. They call it the wings and things offense.
And we've seen a lot more things than we have seen that aren't, you know, associated conventionally with the wing T offense. We've seen a lot more passing than normal. It's almost like watching the Hampton teams of a couple of years ago under the great Roy Johnson, who was quarterbacking them through last year.
Deshaun Matthews going back for the pass.
Yeah, they had to. I was waiting for that flag to come in there.
Yeah, defending was Donnell Vickers, and looked like he had his hand on the back of the receiver.
Well, it's a hard break, and then he cut it real sharply, and at that point, Vickers was just beaten, and he was holding on for dear life. See, watch it right here. Little half roll to the near side. Quarterback sets up that time, does Matthews, and he throws a strike. Now watch right here. Down in the lower end of your screen, number 3 was holding on for dear life because he was beaten. He didn't haul in the pass, but well, we're waiting for an official to make a call, but we know it was pass interference, Ronnie, and if it's going to save 6, it's a good play.
They make it 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Son Matthews trying to go to his favorite receiver. You'll see a lot of that throughout the day. Tommy Mims, number 9. Matthews with the give. Up the middle.
Straight up smash mouth football. That is what the wing tee is all about. And Ronnie, the bottom line is Florida A&M is not really big on the defensive front. You can play physical football with them, and I'm impressed that Delaware State has recognized that, and they're doing a good job at controlling the clock.
Braylon King, the lone back. Matthews audibilizing at the top. His 2nd and 6. Going out, finds the receiver, number 10, and he's looking for some blockers, and he's inside the 25-yard line. He takes that to the 21. Ronnie, talk about receptions. That was Albert Hosey.
And Hosey, this is the most prolific tandem of receivers in Del State history. And when you add one of the great quarterbacks in the history of the conference, you get plays like this. We talk about Nunley racking up the yards after the catch. Great job, slant pattern. And the big Horsey, who is a big physical specimen, gets into the secondary. Look at his numbers last year. Just under 40 receptions, a little bit less than 700 yards, but that average per catch, 18.4. That will do a lot of work in a lot of leagues on any level around the country.
High ball on the 16-yard line, 1st and 10. Matthews going up high. And that ball had a little bit too much air inside of it. Tory Warren, that is, was there defending, but he almost got burned. You've got to respect and admire the playing ability right now of Matthews.
Let's check out and see if this pass might have been deflected. Again, the half roll, and there was some blitz coming from the outside, and I think Matthews' arm might have gotten touched as he released that pass out into the flat, because it really became a dying quail, and he had Anthony Davis out there locked up one-on-one with a size advantage, and it could have been 6.
2nd and 10 from the 16-yard line. Matthews once again going up high, same play. Oh, but you talk about turning around. You know Albert Horsey wanted it. However, some things just don't happen when you want them.
Well, Horsey goes out there, a little post corner route. He gets a nice little pocket to set up and deliver a strike, but Neil Colsley is there to get his meat cleaver up and deflect the pass. Neil Colsley, son of the former Miami Dolphin great, out there patrolling the corner like his father did in South Florida for many, many years. Outstanding play that time.
All right, 3rd and 10. You see it there. There is your quarterback. I'm talking about Rashawn Matthews. Matthews just stands in the pocket, finds the receiver, and it's good. Touchdown by McCants.
It may be coming back, though. Let's see first. There's a flag in the end zone. There was some contact down there, and I'm just wondering, did the receiver push off to make the catch? Nice pass, touch pass. He lofted it up over the defender. It was a one-on-one situation, but the Delaware State players are celebrating, and I do believe it's going to be a Hornet score.
And it'll be a 16-yard touchdown pass, and I'm talking about the most prolific passer perhaps in the history of Delaware State. Rashawn Matthews to Darian McCants.
You have a personal foul, blow to the head against the defense. We got pass interference against the defense. Pass interference is declined. It's a touchdown. Personal foul, blow to the head, will be assessed on the try.
Well, let's take a look at this play right here. Quickly, guys. Now, again, not a whole lot of fancy stuff going. Let your quarterback get out there, survey the field. And again, that particular time, out there in the flat, McCants played off the contact and hauled it in. Now,
I think the one thing he did is that he's a bigger player than Vickers. And when you're 5'9", as Darnell Vickers is, and you've got a guy who's 6 feet, he was basically able to overjump him, outleap him.
And despite the contact, the initial contact that time. See, that's the one where you got to haul somebody down. Make sure they don't make the catch.
The kick is up, and the kick is good, the point after. Once again, we've got a tie score. One of the reasons why you see Matthews going to McCants. We've got a tie score, 7-7, the MEAC College Football Saturday. MEAC Football, you talk about one of the best football conferences for black college football. Throughout the years, you put people like Willie Lanier, Roosevelt Brown into the Hall of Fame. And as you can see, the band getting ready to play. That's one of the great things I enjoy about it, because college football season is back. And as they say, one guy says, get your groove thing on, like the groove.
Yes.
We've got the groove going. And as you can see, you got to shake it. Rock it, roll it. 7-7 is our score. 6-10 in the first quarter. We've got an exciting football game ready for you. All right, receiving the kick. A&M Rattlers, and on the return, that was Isaac Brown. All right, now it's time to look at our national rental car scoring drive. And the last one, you can see it right there. Matthews, 16 yards to McCants. That proved to be the tying score, and that was the National Car Rental scoring drive. Remember, green means go with National Car Rental. Call 1-800-CAR-RENT or book online at www.nationalcar.com.
As you can see, it only took 3 minutes and 48 seconds. That drive, I should say, Ronnie, was definitely exacerbated by a critical pass interference penalty earlier in the drive.
Quinn Gray with the give to Lorius. However, the defense was right there to rack him up, led by number 24, Stephen Brown.
Well, if I'm Billy Joe, I got to start thinking about trying to jump on this Delaware State team a little bit right now, because, you know, when you're trying to pull an upset, it starts with confidence. And this Delaware State team now believes they can certainly play with Florida A&M right now.
Back in the shotgun formation, 2nd and 8, but the ball is tipped. And once again, do unto others as they do unto you. Now let's go down on the sidelines to Donna Hopkins. Donna?
Hey, guys, I was listening in on the defensive series when they came off the field, and the coach was telling them that they needed to do a better job of tackling, and also they were looking a little tired out there. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right, Donna, thanks a lot. Doing a fine job on the sideline. Our very talented Donna Hopkins back in the shotgun formation on 3rd and 8. It's Quinn Gray. Gray goes up, and he finds Isaac Brown.
Nice catch that time, climbing the ladder by number 2. Oh, baby. You know, when you talk about the Gulf Coast offense, you start talking about 3-step drops and quick passes, but oftentimes you get misdirections in the section.
All right, now it's time to look at our U.S. Airways comparison. And look at our QBs, 5 of 8, 50 yards for Quinn Gray, but 3 of 7 and 47 yards for Rashawn Matthews. That's a pretty tight game, Mark. The give to Kelsey Lourdes, but this time he's finally got a leg on him. I'm talking bringing him down for the Delaware State Hornets. That was Brandon Yarborough.
So I guess that means Mr. Yarborough was a leg up on the Rattlers that time, grabbing Mr. Lourdes. I'm impressed with his quicks, though.
I tell you what, he was only able to gain 1 yard. Watch it one more time. Number 90, he's down low, but see, he grabs that leg mark, and that's impressive. 2nd and 9, ball on the 44-yard line, 4:54 remaining in the first quarter. Once again, Gray goes pumping once, and the ball goes over the hands. He had his receiver laid out there, Marcos Junius.
Well, Junius was out there wide open, and that's just a bad pass. I mean, you know, he just tried to, look like he was trying to take a little something off of it, kind of like a pitcher in baseball trying to take something off his off-speed pitch, and it just goes awry.
But remember the one thing Coach Billy Joe said during the luncheon, he's got the strongest arm he's ever seen. That's an example of that strong arm.
Well, maybe he should go deeper now. let his receivers run down the field and haul it in, because they've stayed conservative. I'm a little shocked that at this point with a big concern facing Delaware State in the defensive backfield that we haven't seen FAM stretch the defense yet. And as long as you're playing underneath, I think you're playing in Del State's hands right now.
But the one thing, you've got to be conservative when you're talking about the first game of the season. These kids are very excited about playing. They have their energy level extremely high. Let's face it, it's extremely humid, hot, and muggy out there. You don't want to waste your players so early in the first half. You want to test things out.
This is Florida A&M we're talking about here. They've been practicing in this stuff for almost a month. There is no humidity in Delaware that could even come close to what they've been through in Tallahassee.
All right, once again, Kelsey Lourdes, he gets the reception. There's a flag on the play, though, and we'll see exactly what the officials' ruling is.
Well, we were talking to the officials, and what they say about 8 penalties a game is about the average.
Did they say a game, or did they say in the first quarter?
I don't know, because I was going to say we were going to reach the game totals here in the first quarter.
All righty, we're going to see exactly what the ruling is by official Artie Cobb.
Holding against the defense. Spot foul beyond the line. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Mark, what does that tell you? You're seeing a lot of holding penalties by the defense. Okay, so what is that telling you what the offense is doing?
Well, it's confusing right now, and apparently the offensive players have a bit of an adjustment. I think that was on, he said it was defense.
He said it was defense.
But he marked it off against the offense.
So what does it mean, Mark?
Officials aren't in midseason form yet either. That's
4:37 in the first quarter. We've got 3rd and 14. Still in the shotgun. Win Gray.
We have too much time. Yeah, definitely. This is opening game jitters. This is rust. And normally when you're in camp,
offense, 5 yards, 3rd down.
See, that's just a question of not being in sync. You're so used to banging on guys that have on the same colors of uniforms that you've had for the last month that you see a different outfit, and you're a little bit off in the first quarter.
Well, that's going to make it a long 3rd down situation. Stanley back there with protection in time. Had to finally dump it off. That was Quinn Gray.
He got great pressure from the backside that time. David Hughes, the senior linebacker out of West Hempstead, New York, came from the backside and gave Mr. Gray, and despite what it says on his jersey, it is Gray with an A.
All right, we've got an injury on the side.
That's
down there at the bottom of your screen, Mark.
Wow. Big number 85 that time for Lanier Tolson for Delaware State. Just pancakes the Florida A&M offensive lineman Shedrick Moten, a sophomore who is 6'6", 310 pounds. Now, this is supposed to be 1AA, but you look across FAMU's line, their offensive front is as big, if not bigger, than a lot of teams in the NFL.
Well, you know, a lot of times when you talk of black college football, people don't give them the credit that they deserve. And these kids, not only are they fine athletes, but they get a lot done. Let's hope that Moten's okay, but the way he turned down on that knee, Mark, you've got to be concerned about this young man right now.
And you really hate to see injuries at any time during the course of a game or a season, but you definitely hate to see it happen in the first game of the season when a guy is a critical component to the success of that offensive unit.
Hey, he's a starting left guard.
And that's the guy that protects you from the backside. And as you can see, the concern of the Florida A&M Rattler faithful right now. And you got to give props to the Rattler faithful. Boy, they travel. They travel as well as anybody in the league. And I don't want the folks in Greensboro to get upset because we know you Aggies and your South Carolina State Bulldogs travel too.
Look at the crowd here. And you talk about FAMU fans, even on the Delaware State side, there are a lot of people here at Alumni Stadium for a 12 o'clock kickoff game. This is impressive. This is telling you basically what the MEAC is doing. Hey, look, for the latest on the MEAC, go to MEACsports.com. You can get your daily updates about football, get all the scores that happen today, as well as game day summaries. You can look into the basketball season and get your tickets ready for the MEAC basketball tournament as well, men's and women's. So for the latest on the MEAC, go to MEACsports.com.
And then you can probably get answers to all those poignant questions like best tailgating in the league and stuff like that. You don't think so? No?
All I know is that when I came in today, you were eating.
That's what I do.
All right, there's Moulton right there. He's being taken off the sidelines. We wish him the very well. We hope that he can recover from what has happened to him. Maybe it's just a knee sprain. We'll find out a little later. We've got Donna Hopkins on the sideline, and I'm sure Donna will find a way to get over there and find out what the injury update is. Once again, we're punting right now. And set to return the punt. Number 21, Deshane Dennis. All righty. When you talk about the first game of the season for a head coach who's getting his first opportunity to head coach, and Ben Blacknall, he says, hey, I love coaching, but why did I have to go up against the FAMU Rattlers?
Well, the first thing, I didn't put Billy up there first. I didn't have anything to do with that. I was telling some people a few minutes ago, I said, whoever did that, they really didn't like me. But I was talking to Billy since I've been here the last couple of days, and I was told him, I said, man, let's agree to you just bring some skilled guys up there, and we play 7-on-7. But it's going to really be a big challenge. But I'm trying to look at it from a positive aspect. And
I tell you what, a positive aspect, and he has put a positive offensive unit together because it is 7-7. And I have to be honest with you, Mark, coming into this game not knowing what to expect from Del State. They were 4-4 last season. I remember doing these games and saying, is Del State winning? Wait a minute, is Del State winning again? And they ended the season 4-4. So once again, let's take a look at it because the offensive numbers are like this. FAMU has 114 total yards, Delaware State 62.
But Florida A&M has not been relentless to this point. Del State's done a good job until this point, and I think we may have a bit of a fumble down there, but tremendous defensive pressure that time. Yes,
Cedric Bird getting on the pressure, number 55. And he was able to get through that offensive line. Watch him, number 55 comes into your screen. Mr. Bird, and back that thing on up.
He just beat the defense, the offensive line off the snap count, and he was in the backfield about the time Matthews got set up. Matthews had absolutely no chance that time.
All right, 3rd and 14 is the situation. Ball on the 22-yard line. Shane Matthews with the give. And that was Maurice Foster with a gain of about 6.
So Foster, who made the trek all the way from Atlanta to play his college football at Delaware State, hits the hole effectively, blasts into the secondary, but then he runs into a sea of orange and white. So the penalty definitely inhibited that drive.
But the one thing I see so far with the Hornets, despite the fact they're punting the ball right now, a lot of versatility with their running game. Well, a lot of different names, a lot of different personnel.
You're going to see that with the wing T. The wing T is a physical offense, 1 back or 2 back, unless you're a guy like Montrell Coley at Hampton. You cannot play a whole season taking a physical punishment that you take when operating as the major setback in the wing T formation.
All right, downing the punt for the Hornets was William Ross. And, of course, Isaac Brown was set to receive it, but it just didn't come to him.
Well, I'm still waiting for Brown or Nunnally or one of those swift Rattler receivers to stretch the defense right now.
All right, our accommodations have been provided here in Dover, Delaware by Howard Johnson's 56-1 North DuPont Highway in Dover, Delaware. If you want information, there it is, 301-367-378-8900.
So Gray with the silent snap count once again. Not exactly loud out there, but, you know, just to get everybody on the same page of the book.
1st and 10, Gray with the quick pass. Jamar Bowe.
Was that Bowe at that time?
Yes, that was. That was number 84, Jamar Bowe, on the reception.
Well,
there he is.
That was supposed to be a screen where you dump it quick to the slot receiver on the far side.
He lost some yards on that. It is 2nd and 13.
And the line was supposed to pull out in front of him, but Del State is extremely well prepared here early on. And there's a bad pass by Gray. Well, you talk about somebody can land in Coach Joe's doghouse. You know, that's just a bad pass. You know, no sugarcoating that. That's a pass that you have to get to Nunley and let him go one-on-one. He didn't give his talented receiver a chance in that situation.
And the thing about it is that this cat can bust it off. Ball's on the 26-yard line, and that's 3rd and 13. That's going to be a long situation, and you can imagine Coach Billy Joe is not happy with some of the positioning of his offense.
Well, I can see somebody in the bullpen starting to warm up, man. What a catch.
What a catch. What a reception. I tell you what, every time you turn around, there's always someone. Marco Julius.
This is just a phenomenal catch. It's not a fancy pass route and not exactly a great pass anyway, but you talk about climbing the ladder and hauling it in, that's big time right there. That's the kind of plays you got to make when you're a championship caliber team.
Ball on the 42, 1st and 10. Once again going to Nunley, but Jacque wasn't in the way of the ball.
Well, I tell you, Nunley has been open the last 3 or 4 times, as in wide open, and Gray hasn't frankly gotten him the ball. And it's just a situation right now where I don't think that Gray is comfortable in the pocket for whatever reason. He's got what I call happy feet. He's dancing around back there, and you're not going to deliver a confident pass or an accurate pass if you're happy feet in the offensive backfield.
All right, 2nd and 10 from the 42-yard line. Gray once again. Almost interceptions. Let's go down to Donna Hopkins for an injury update and find out what's the latest on Moten.
Hey, guys, you know he's got a right knee sprain, a slight right knee sprain. They said that they're going to ice him up. They're going to get him up in a few minutes to see if he's going to be able to go, so it's a big question mark.
Once again, Donna, we thank you for that prompt work down there. We hope and wish that that young man's recovery is sooner than anyone expects.
Glad it's not anything torn or major pull, just a sprain.
All right, 3rd and 10 from the 42-yard line. There's some movement in the defense, and Quinn Gray is audibilizing from the sidelines.
Oh, he's got a man out there.
And he had him that time. No doubt about it. I'm talking about DeMar Bowe. DeMar Bowe had an opportunity to not only turn in a big first down, who knows what could have happened thereafter. Look at that.
He's got 5 yards, and you just got to haul it in. He did not concentrate. Find the ball, grab the ball, and bring it in. And I don't think Bowe realized how open he was. And again, but really, he was led too far. You know, I thought Quinn Gray would have matured and would be a lot more polished and more comfortable in a situation like this. I don't know if he's tight. I don't know if he's nervous or what have you, but he's not delivering the ball with any confidence.
Oh, they were looking for the punt, but it was a fake punt and an interception by Barry Barry Mitchell with the interception. It was the fake punt, and Delaware State, you talk about Coach Blacknall knowing about defense, they were ready for that.
Well, I tell you something, that was a trademark of Ben Blacknall's special teams at South Carolina State. They blocked kicks, they ran punts and kickoffs back, and they always had a gadget play or two in every game plan for situations like that. Conversely, he does a good job at preparing them for any trickery that Billy Joe tried to catch him off guard with. And you talk about the confidence, you can see it's building on the red and white sidelines right now. They do believe.
You like to see parity in a football conference. You don't want to see anyone running away with it. This is exciting.
And that was a busted play.
And once again, big man number 99, Parsons, was right in there for the Rattlers of FAMU.
But again, a busted play. It was either designed to be a play-action fake or a handoff, and all of a sudden, I think Rashawn Matthews went to look for a running back that had already hit a hole. Can't hit the hole without the ball.
All right, the ball's on the 40-yard line. This will make it 2nd and 10.
And suddenly it looks like Matthews has command, he has poise, he just looks like a more polished field general at this point in the game.
And Jerron Daly on the tackle. All right, that will end the first quarter of action. It is 7-7. I'm talking the Delaware State Hornets and the FAMU Rattlers. You're watching MEAC College Football Saturday right here today.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you take a square and a circle of the same size, why does the square cover more total area than the circle?
Because of the corners, sir. It's like a Lido pizza. Oh. It's bigger so you get more freshly rolled dough, more delicious sauce, more smoked provolone cheese, more toppings for your money.
This is the 50s. Who cares about saving?
It's an idea ahead of its time. But someday Lido pizza will be everywhere. People will be eating, saving, and loving that square Lido pizza because they never cut corners. This will also end the federal deficit.
What deficit?
It's amazing. It's unprecedented. Announcing the Julian Graham pre-owned warranty. 12 months, 12,000 miles, 4-star coverage on every pre-owned vehicle in stock. At Julian Graham, our cars start as low as $59.95 with financing available. We'll even include $1,500 worth of service savings.
Hi, I'm Julian Graham.
And I personally stand behind every pre-owned vehicle that I sell. That's how I know.
Nobody does what Julian Graham does. Julian Graham Chevrolet, 1 mile off I-95 on Chamberlain Avenue.
Travel Channel is brought to you by AT&T Broadband.
All right, it is 7-7, Florida A&M and Delaware State. And you're watching the MEAC College Football Saturday. Ronnie Duncan along with Mark Gray and Donna Hopkins on the sideline.
And you know something, if you draw up a blueprint for a big-time upset, that was the perfect first quarter for Delaware State. They were able to shut down the Rattlers offensively. They were able to do some positive things on their offensive side of the ball. And now, from a confidence standpoint, Delaware State has to be brimming right now because they know they can play with the big, bad Rattlers.
Well, they've done it for one quarter. 3rd and 10, ball on the 40-yard line. Matthews back to pass. Matthew gets out of trouble, finds a receiver, and that's the big tight end, Darian McCants.
And see, he's set up right in the center of the field. There's nothing fancy about no misdirections. There are no pick plays or anything. This is just simple. A square right across the middle, and the quarterback does a good job. Look at this move. Now you see me, now you don't. Get off me. Now step up in the pocket, and then watch it. A strike and a nice catch. An excellent job of hauling it in and running after the catch.
But they're doing things very quickly. No huddle offense for the Hornets. Matthew pumps. Matthew goes deep. Matthew has a receiver. Touchdown! The Hornets of Delaware State. Albert Horsey with the touchdown, and that was 45 yards. Put it in your face from outer space.
Boy, I tell you, you know something? Little misdirection that time. They faked the dive and the quarterback. Watch it right here. Look, a little play action fake is going to freeze some linebackers. See? Okay, now I'm going to half little roll out here. Fake like I'm going long. I've got the quarterback to bite on it, and Horsey has about 10 yards, has to circle around, catch it, and then there is absolutely no way that Torrey Warren, the senior, could haul Horsey down. And now Delaware State has got to feel exceptionally good.
Aaron Quinn with the point after, and it's good. It is 14-7. The Del State Hornets leading FAMU. Can you believe that, Mark?
We got ourselves a game, folks.
That's
Stick
right,
around.
MEAC College Football. The MEAC College Football seasons of the days gone by. We've put guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Next week, we'll be at South Carolina State in Orangeburg. And in Orangeburg, it's going to be the Bulldogs taking on Savannah State. Talk about the history. South Carolina State has Marion Motley, one of the first African Americans ever to play in the NFL and the Hall of Fame, as well as Deacon Jones, both products of South Carolina State. We've got a football game here, 14-27. Remaining just before halftime. Ronnie Duncan along with Mark Gray. It is 14-7. The Del State Hornets with the lead.
That's Turner.
Wow. Turner on the return, and the defense was right there to say, it's time to sting you for the Hornets. Let's take a look at Al Xerox first quarter stats, and you see right there when it comes to rushing yards, it's all about FAMU with 66. Passing yards, pretty even when you think about it. 61 for FAMU, 47 for Del State. But first down, 6-4, and look at the time of possession. FAMU is eating up the clock so far in the first quarter, 8 minutes and 32 seconds. 5:40, however, a productive 5:40 for Del State. They lead 14-7. It is 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Your quarterback is Quinn Gray.
This is where he's got to step up, too.
And the give was to the running back. I'm talking Kelsey Lourdes. He gets about 3 yards on the play.
Well, we saw in the last drive that Florida A&M can get deep on Delaware State. I'm just wondering when they're going to start attacking it a little more. I think the longer you play underneath and the longer you play conservative, the more you play into Delaware State's chances for an upset. And I'm just wondering, sooner or later, when do the demons of doubt start creeping in to the Rattler sideline?
All right, that'll be 2nd and 7. To give one time up the middle, it's Lourdes, and he gets a first down one more time. Brings the ball out to about the 32-yard line.
Florida A&M is doing a terrific job at this point in the game, right up the middle, at just blasting one of the better linebackers in the league out of position in Otto Pope. We haven't called his name once. And you know why? Because he's getting pancaked repeatedly by the interior of the FAMU line.
I tell you what, Kelsey has been impressive when you consider they lost Kenny Williams last season, and I'm talking to FAMU Rattlers. Once again, Lourdes with the give. Lourdes is hit. However, he tries to move ahead for some positive yards, but it was 1st and 10 from the 32. I think he picked up about maybe 2 yards.
And I admire Billy Joe for his commitment to standard, to run the football. And one thing about Coach Joe, he sees a totally different game when he's coaching upstairs, and he funnels his information down to his brother Billy Joe, but it must be working. 205 victories throughout his career, and he's won on every level. This is a guy that just simply gets it done.
Ball on the 35-yard line, 2nd and 7. Almost intercepted right there by the Hornets. I'm talking about Deshane Dennis. We talked about him at the start of the game. We said how quick he was, and everyone talks about his ability as a punt returner and a kickoff returner. This young man can play, and I guarantee you, Billy Joe is saying, hey, he's creating some problems for me.
I wonder what the conversation between Jimmy Joe and Billy Joe is right now when you see number 21 wearing red and white make a big-time play like that. And I thought that he was going to be locked up on Nunley all afternoon, but Nunley has another CB on him right now, and I'm a little shocked that they haven't tried to isolate him right there.
Once again, the defense is right there, Mark.
But that's a bad pass. A pass that's too low for the receiver to handle. He's got to run his route on the fly, haul in a low pass, and then try to pick up the first down. Quarterback's not doing a job right now of helping his receivers out. He's throwing a lot of medicine. See, there's no excuse for that.
It was in the hands.
Still got to be up above the belt. Now, you're beginning to sound a lot like a quarterback, and we're not going to have that. We're not going to have any of that Joe Theismann stuff around here.
I'm not Joe.
Okay. Just wanted to let you know.
My hair doesn't blow in the wind.
And you do let your other broadcaster get in the word edgewise. We won't open those cans of worms.
All right, 14-7, 12:37 is remaining just before halftime. And if you're just joining us, Ronnie Duncan along with Mark Way, this has been a big surprise. I'm talking about Del State leading FAMU.
And at the risk of overstatement right now, this is the first critical challenge for Florida A&M this season. Del State has an opportunity. They will get good field position. They will have a chance to basically have a great offensive starting position right now. And so I'm interested to see whether or not their defense can step up.
All right, the punt is up. And Deshane Dennis just lets it go down. Punts inside the 20-yard line and around the 17. This is MEAC College Football Saturday. It's Del State over FAMU, 14-7. Of Del State, and the reason why they're leading FAMU 14-7. Let's go down to the sidelines to my friend Donna Hopkins. Donna.
Hey guys, you talk about excitement on this sideline. The defense coming in was supposed to be the weakest link on this team, but they have come out and played today. After that interception, Coach Blackwell came over and told them that they have to take advantage of their opportunities, and they came out with that 45 touchdown strike.
That's a great job, and one thing about it, there's several coaches on Ben Blacknall's staff who have fashioned major upsets against MEAC teams. Talk about that in greater detail in a minute.
All right, the give was to Tony Mem. He gets a little short gain. That'll make it a second down and about 8 yards.
And I was talking about a couple of assistants, Jeff Braxton and Chico Williams, the offensive coordinator and the running backs coach, respectively, were part of a Morehouse coaching staff about 5 years ago that upset the big bad Howard University Bison on a Labor Day in Atlanta when there was a quarterback by the name of Jay Walker there. So there's some upset savvy on this sideline.
All right, no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line. And you see that wings and things offense, but still, Matthews goes up top, finds a receiver. That was William Ross. And he was brought down by number 43, John Battle.
Was that 43, Ronnie? If that's the case, the defensive back did a great job of coming back. I thought that was Burrows. It might have been 53.
It may have been Burrows. Let's take a look at it one more time, Mark.
And that is Burrows.
Corrected. It is Burrows.
Well, the thing about Burrows that Florida A&M is so happy to have him back. This is a guy tore his knee up first game last year, was basically innocent bystander all season long. But you see, he's got quickness, and he does a great job against the rush and the pass.
Rolling out, Matthews, and he finds. Turn him in.
I tell you, Matthews, we didn't talk a lot about
It was Barry Mitchell, excuse me. Barry Mitchell we found.
We haven't talked about Matthews in historic context, but if he averages passing what he's averaged through the course of his career, he could be as high as number 3 on the all-time MEAC passing list by the end of the season, and he looks a lot more confident when he delivers his balls this afternoon.
Well, he's looking better as the game goes on. Ball is on the 36, 1st and 10 for the Hornets of Del State.
Quarterback on this level is such more than just making passes. It's about field generalship. And that's what you talk about, field generalship. You play off, you bring the linebackers back, you dance out of the way, and you deliver a strike to your back, and he almost picks up a first down.
Once again, that was Graylin King.
With the blitz of Jerron Daly coming from the outside, Matthews is able to deliver a strike. And there hasn't been that great deal of pressure on Quinn Gray. He just hasn't thrown confident passes right now.
That was a pickup of 9 yards. That will make it 2nd and 1. Ball is on the 45-yard line. And again, Coach Blacknall has to be impressed with the offense that has been generated by Matthews and company.
Well, this wings and things was definitely something that Florida A&M has not seen before. And their defense right now is playing as though they are definitely in the dark.
Well, they try to go for the first down. We'll see if they got it. Doesn't look like it from our vantage point.
And there's Ben Blacknall, a guy who was coached not only at Howard, but he coached some at Morehouse. He spent, and look at the numbers of Rashawn Matthews right now. 7 of 11 for 125, 2 TDs, no INTs. That is just efficiency personified.
A lot of people thought those would be the type of numbers you would see from Quinn Gray.
Right.
Now you're seeing those types of numbers from Rashawn Matthews. And what I'm impressed about is the simple fact that this kid has not made a mistake.
Right.
And you don't expect it, though. You're talking about a senior. You're talking about a guy who wants to go out on top. After having losing seasons, I mean, this kid has been a part of a losing season where they didn't even win a game here at Del State. To win 4 games last year was like, hey, let's have a party. So now the Coach Blacknall comes in here with more of a commitment toward defense, and then you've got, of course, the wing and thing offense. Something can happen. The measurement is there. It doesn't look like it's going to be a first down, so it will be 3rd and 1. Ball on the 45-yard line. You're listening and watching the MEAC College Football Saturday. Del State taking on FAMU. 2nd quarter action, 9:35 left to go just before halftime.
And Matthews, look at his eyes right now. I mean, he had the attitude. He was able to instill confidence in his big guys up front. And when the big fellas up front have confidence in the guy that's calling the signals, good things are happening. And good things are happening for the Hornets offense right now.
All right, 3rd and inches. You know it's just a matter of time if they can get the first down. And the D-line is going to be packing tight. Quarterback sneak, and Mark, I don't know. We're going to have to wait for an official ruling on this one. They may not have gotten it.
There was no surge that time at all at the point of attack by the offensive line. And that just left Mr. Matthews trying to take that big frame and fall forward, and I'm not quite sure he did.
Hey, it will take a friendly placing of the football by the official to get the flags moved.
And look at Florida A&M right now. Look like they're a little stunned right now. You're a boxing guy. Looks like somebody's taking that haymaker early on, has got some cobwebs and trying to feel his way back into this game.
All right, who are they? Felix Trinidad and David Reed. David Reed got the early knockdown. Felix Trinidad got the win. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done. You can never count out Coach Billy Joe. I know that much by just watching.
A nose of the football short of the first down, and now a bit of a roll of the dice here.
Once again, we've got a tremendous staff out here. Kenny White getting a nice shot of that one, letting you know that it's just inches away from the first down. And Mark Gray, now you get a chance to play coach. I throw it to you. What do you do?
Oh, you go for it right now. You're at home. You're not supposed to beat Florida A&M. Your offense is moving efficiently right now. And you got an opportunity right now to deliver emotional dagger right now. You got an opportunity to get inside Fam's head. I say go for it. I say go for it because you can wobble, and you can shake. But remember, Weebles wobble,
but they don't fall down. All right, 9:07. The crowd is getting pumped up about this. They're enjoying the simple fact that the Hornets are going for a first down, much as a surprise to everyone. And I'm sure no one thought the game would be like this. It's interesting.
Could Dell be trying to draw them offsides? Wow. And I don't think Matthews got it.
Now Matthews was turned away by a swarming Rattlers defense, and you could tell they are pumped and excited. Sure, the Hornets are saying, not my house.
Well, as a matter
of the Rattlers are saying, not a first down.
I'm telling you, you talk about bunching it up and just not moving. Look at Mr. Jerron Daly getting inside and making something happen. So a big defensive stand by the Rattlers, and how that, pendulum of momentum is swung back to the orange and green right now. Delaware State had everything rolling until those last two plays. Now you got to see whether or not Quinn Gray can make something happen deep.
I must ask you this question. In lieu of what we've just seen, this play could be the turning point of this game because of what Daly has done. And let's face it, when we talk about Jerron Daly, we're talking about a preseason All-America. We're talking about Sporting News and the Sporting Network. Wow. It's Quinn Gray. Now tell me, when a quarterback comes to you out of the backfield doing stuff like this, if I'm 5'10" and only 180 pounds, I'm getting out of the way.
Did you see the stick? That number 17, and it is supposed to be Gray with an A, mind you. He was quick to tell me that yesterday. But watch this stick. Bang! Oh! Your quarterbacks just aren't supposed to deliver shots like that.
Hey, it's only the fun times that are happening here. There's Kenny Lourdes. And Lourdes gets a first down. I tell you what, I'm impressed with this guy.
Yeah,
you talk about Kenny Williams out of Lake Clifton High School out of Baltimore, Maryland, being the primary runner. You know what Kenny's doing now. Kenny's playing on Sundays and getting paid for it. And this kid picks up where Kenny left off.
There are a lot of guys from this conference that are picking up paychecks on Sunday afternoons.
Oh, yeah, you got to be so happy for
really
him. I mean, you look at the simple fact that Elijah Thurman is now on the practice squad of the Philadelphia Eagles. You look at the simple fact of what my man Mo is doing down there with the Atlanta Falcons. We'll talk about a little later. 1st and 10, ball on the 27-yard line, and Quinn Gray is your quarterback for the FAMU Rattlers. He's in the shotgun formation one more time, and Quinn Gray loves to pass the ball. But he's stuck. Did you see that? Oh, my goodness. Coming in was Richard Mason, the DB. And that was the all-out blitz, Mark Gray.
The Spingarn High School product from just outside of Washington, D.C. in Maryland, Forestville to be exact, just comes off a corner blitz. Watch him. It comes from the right side and just puts his helmet in between the 1 and the 7, and we do have a flag down. So how ironic is this? We've got an illegal procedure against Florida A&M on a play where the quarterback is sacked.
You know what? For a second there, I thought that wasn't who I thought it was. I thought it was DMX. And he walked up to him and tackled him and said, "What's my name? What you really want? What you really want?"
You gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here.
7:38 to go just before halftime.
And for those of you who are cool impaired, those are some of the top hip-hop artists in America these days.
Dead ball, we're going to treat it as a dead ball. False start against the offense. It's going to be first down, first down.
That'll be 1st and 15. Ball is still on the 27-yard line.
Still have not seen a passing play on this drive yet. I think he caught that one. Great shoestring catch job that time by the receiver coming out of the flat, DeMar Bowe, who's having a big first half.
I like to see that play one more time. Here it is. Quinn Gray goes back to pass, and take a look at that, Mark.
That's just a great catch. Got his hands up under the ball, pulled it off his shoestring. Hey, great catch. Helping his quarterback out.
Gray back to pass again, 2nd and 12. And once again, he went back to Bo. And this time, there was not enough of the good stuff to keep the ball in bounds.
Too much mustard on it. That's just, you know, he didn't need to fire it out there with as much speed because Bo had broken his pattern off, and there was nothing but heat in the sidelines that was standing between he and the ball.
All right, 3rd and 12, big 3rd down. Ball is on the 30. Screen pass to Lourdes. Lourdes gets tackled at the 20-yard line, and that would not be enough for a first down. They need to get about to the 18.
Boy, you talk about stepping up in there and putting on a shot. The sophomore defensive back from Hampton, Virginia, Darryl Cooper, introduces himself to Kelsey Lourdes. And, well, I'm not quite sure they're going to be going out for dinner after this shot. Boy, that's a big-time stick. Nice individual defensive play that time that brings up a 4th down.
4th and 1. Ball is on the 20-yard line. They need to get to about the 18 in order to get a first down. The pitch out to Lourdes, but this time he is racked up. Once again, Richard Mason from the cornerback position, and it's the distance he had to cover that impressed me the most.
And the fact that the linebackers do a good job of swinging to the outside, stringing that play farther outside than Lourdes wanted to go. Watch the linebacker. Look at number 2. He doesn't buy into anything. See, it's discipline against the option, and that strings the play to the outside, and there is nowhere for Lourdes to go except down to the ground, and Florida A&M has to give up the ball.
All right, Cedric Boatman was back in the game. You know he went out when he had that sprained knee. If you looked at the replay, one of the reasons why Mason was able to get there is that he was able to fend off Boatman.
And that's the range of motion issue that you have when you're playing with a bum knee.
6:08. 1st and 10. The give was the Graylin King again.
Boy, the coach is really right now. Ben Blacknall has to be pleased with what he's seen thus far. I mean, think about it, Ronnie. You come in, you're a heavy underdog. The only thing that you have going in your advantage is the fact that you're playing in your house, but you got to take on fam. He could not have designed a better game plan. And then, of course, Billy Joe looking for answers right now.
He's dialing 911.
And nobody's home just yet.
2nd and 7, ball on 25. Trying to run a little reverse almost.
Well, that's one of the things that the wing tee will give you, an opportunity for your left halfback or your right halfback to come in off after he lines up out there and kind of swing it back to the inside. That time, great pursuit from the corners. Guys like Jerron Daly just forced it back inside, and there was no place for the ball carrier to go. Obviously a team that's seen wing tee before and recognized the play and just took it away.
Under 5 minutes to go just before halftime. It's 3rd and 11, ball on the 20. Matthews goes up high. Matthews finds the receiver, but it was deflected out of bounds. That was Colsey.
Colsey is definitely getting worked on right now, but this is a situation where, once again, Darnarian McCants is having his way against the Florida A&M secondary. He's big. I didn't think he was that quick, but he's been able to repeatedly get behind the Rattlers secondary as he did right there. If Matthews leads him, we're looking at another 6 points.
Tell you what, it's pretty good defense, too. And once again, McCants showing his athletic ability.
Yeah, but Ronnie, if a ball is underthrown as bad as that one is, you can make the play. You can break on the ball and deflect that pass.
Isaac Brown on the return. And we've got an exciting game. It is 14-7 with 4:35 left to go in the second quarter. Ronnie Duncan, Mark Gray, the MEAC College Football Saturday. Again, those FAMU Rattlers are moving the football. Just seconds ago, Jacque Nunley was able to do the one thing that has impressed me the most, what he does once he catches the football. Here's the play that you just missed just seconds ago as Quinn Gray goes to Jacque Nunley. Nunley, watch him here, beating the defender, and the most impressive thing about it, Mark, is that he goes and gets positive yards.
Well, that was the most impressive move right there. The old roll your shoulders, slide your feet to the inside, and keep going down the field. We talked about him racking up the yards. RAC, run after the catch. That's what makes Jacque Nunley so special. He is so dangerous when he's out there in one-on-one situations. And what you have to do is just get him the ball in an effective operating position. That means you can't have him climbing the ladder. You can't have him going down to his shoestrings. Let him catch the ball and then do his work after the catch.
All right, now it's time for our Delaware State Greyhound Quick Facts. Delaware State was founded in 1891. The enrollment is 3,600. The nickname, the Hornets. The colors, red and blue. And they joined the MEAC back in 1970. And, of course, they're home here at Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware, where it is hot, humid, and even the broadcasters are getting to work out. I think I'm going to drop about maybe 5 pounds after this game.
Exactly. Don't even have to lift any negative weight. But it's good to see Delaware State come back into the league as one of the elite teams. I remember when I was in school, they were a dominant team. It was like Delaware State, North Carolina A&T, Florida A&M, who were always at the top of the league. And Delaware State has had some lean years. But we're seeing today that the hiring of Ben Blacknall was bordering on a stroke of genius.
Ball on the 24, first and 10, 14-7. Hornets have the lead. Quinn Gray with the football. Quinn Gray up the middle. Quinn Gray brought down. He gets about maybe 3 yards on the play.
Is it me, or has Quinn Gray been most effective with the quarterback draw all afternoon?
He has been, but the one thing that I'm looking at when I see Quinn Gray throw the football, sure, he has a tremendous strong arm, but I'm wondering about his feet. What kind of feet? I mean, he doesn't appear to be very swift with his feet. I don't know. You're the animal.
He's got happy feet in terms of setting up and delivering passes. He's not a Steve McNair type of runner, but he's big, he's physical, and he's quick enough to make some things happen outside the pocket. And that's, ooh, boy, he's lucky that wasn't picked off.
Zachary Dunn, one of the best players in the MEAC at that position. And the thing about it is that not only could he have picked it off,
he could have gone,
but it was a great defensive play.
And this is a bad pass, no zip. Remember we were talking about too much mustard on the previous pass, on the previous drive? This one didn't have enough. And Zach Dunn, 23 unassisted tackles last year coming up from his linebacker position, and he had 7 sacks. Preseason second team all MEAC getting it done.
All right, 3rd and 7 from the 21. Gray back again, the pass. Gray being flushed out of the pocket. He takes the ball on the run, and he's inside the 15. And that looks like it's good enough for a first down, but the quarterback got smashed.
You don't need fast feet or 4.4 speed if you can deliver a blow like Quinn Gray just did. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a quarterback who is really an undercover linebacker. Watch him get into the secondary. I'm not going down. Boom! And the pile goes back.
He may not have been going down in that replay, but when you see the live picture, he's down. Yes, Gray goes down. Gray goes down. Gray fell to his feet. He couldn't even get a sense of what was going on. He got clocked and he got rocked.
He got his bell rung, and I think right now he's still trying to figure out where he is, and that puts Florida A&M in a situation where they will have to go to their second string quarterback, either Ryan Byrne or Doug Hasden. So 2 guys who are junior college transfers are definitely warming up in the bullpen right now, and now I think Mr. Gray, if he's able to come back, will observe that discretion is definitely the better part of valor.
He appears to be okay right now, Mark, but you know, you got to wonder, do you want your quarterback taking that type of punishment?
Of course not. Of course, you can't continue to call those quarterback draws and not expect the big nasties on the linebackers or secondaries. Let's take a look at the hit. Let's watch the whole scenario unfold. Now, this is Gray getting outside the pocket into the secondary, and watch D-State just converge on him. And now he's down. So football's such a macho game. Okay, they talk a little bit of smack. His teammates try to help him up.
Zachary Dunn and Eric Williams were right there on the tackle. Eric Williams and Zachary Dunn hit him almost simultaneously.
Now watch this. This is the delayed reaction. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Wait a minute, guys. I'm not doing so good. Uh-oh. Guys. Help me out, guys. I'm done. And down goes Greg. Down goes Greg. But he's back up, though.
He's back up, but if you ask him what his Social Security number was, it may not happen. You got one gray down and one gray up. You're still standing.
But not by much. It is so hot. This is definitely the boys of summer kind of weather. And here on the East Coast, it has not been this warm all summer. So it's funny how from Memorial Day to Labor Day, it was below average temperature. And here we kick off the MEAC season, and Florida A&M has brought up all of the southeastern USA humidity that they could muster for the long trek up here.
They're measuring for a first down, and from our great camera angle, appears to be just inches. So we're going to look at it at 4th and 1. Coach Blacknall.
And there's Ben Blacknall giving his team confidence. They make them earn it. You don't want to give a team like Florida A&M anything. Make them work hard. They are a championship caliber team, and everybody knows that. And now we've got
Renald Drummond. Renald Drummond, the quarterback, now in the game. And he looks like he's gotten enough for a first down.
Do you get hazard pay if you're a FAMU quarterback this year? Wow. I'm saying the burden of the offensive or the running game appears to have fallen on the quarterback.
You know, let's take a listen to what rocked Quinn Gray's belt. Take a listen to this. Once again, Zachary Dunn was right there, number 3. And, of course, he had a little bit of help from Eric Williams.
Intercollegiate athletics is supposed to be about, you know, bringing camaraderie. I'm not quite sure that's the way guys wanted to get familiar with one another. If I'm Quinn Gray, I didn't need to meet those guys like that.
All right, Drummond, you see him in there. He's the quarterback. It looks like he's gotten the first down. Let's take a look. It is first down.
Not everybody agreed with the spot. And there's Otto Polk right there, a guy who I expect to call his name a whole lot today, and I don't think he has one tackle. And when your offense is able to keep a guy like Polk as basically a non-factor, you're having an outstanding day thus far, offense.
First and 10 from the 14. Jacquay Nunley on a reception. Nunley inside the 10-yard line. And of course.
Now, we were talking a few minutes ago about delivering strikes with confidence and putting enough mustard on it and not having enough mustard. This is a strike, and Nunley is wide open. But look at Ronnie, the way that Drummond just stands in the pocket, surveys, and whistles a strike. Check that. Well, Quinn Gray is back in the lineup right now. So apparently they got the Inswell or the smelling salts out to get Mr. Gray back into playing shape.
All right, 2:19 to go just before halftime. 2nd and 4 yards to go. Ball on the 6-yard line. Under center, Gray. Gray with the give to Kelsey. And Kelsey's in for the touchdown. Well, 8-yard touchdown.
When you sucker a team in with a couple of slant patterns, they're going to start looking to the outside, and that should open up your rush game up the middle, and that's what happened for Kelsey Lloyd. So Delaware State had an opportunity to really put the noose around Florida A&M's neck. They weren't able to do it, and as a championship team often does, the Rattlers come back to get right back in this contest.
Joe talking to his quarterback, Quinn Gray. And some of the words coming out of his mouth, I don't read lips, but just through animation alone, you're not sure whether Coach Billy Joe is that happy with the complete play. But I tell you what, they were able to move the ball in, and Kelsey Lorius was able to take it in for an 8-yard touchdown. We've got a tie ball game at 14-14 with 2:05 left to go before halftime.
He told Quinn Gray to get down. That's what he told. He said, slide from now on. You don't have to prove anything to me, young fella. Slide.
There's our scorer, in the second quarter. Here's a young man that can do some damage. We talked about him at the start of the game. He's still on his feet at the 40-yard line. You see it there, Shane Dennis.
And we thought coming in he could be an equalizer from a field position standpoint. And what better way to take away some of that momentum Florida A&M game with outstanding kickoff return that will give Delaware State an opportunity to score starting at the 40-yard line.
Watch him here, number 21, Shane Dennis, averaged over 25 yards every kick last season in the MEAC. And let's face it, he was a preseason MEAC all-first-teamer, and he was a first-teamer last year when it comes to kickoff returns.
Well, he's got size and he's got speed, and there's several NFL scouts here that have to be impressed by what they've seen, certainly with his return capabilities.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Mims with the reception. Mims taken down for a loss.
Well, now I'm a little shocked that they're going to stay underneath. You know, they haven't, Florida A&M that is, shown an ability to stay with Darnarian McCants on the fly pattern deep downfield all afternoon. And I'm just wondering right now, when does Ben Blacknall just say, hey, look, guys, we got an opportunity to do some things right now before the end of the half. We get the ball to start the second half. Open it up, play a little bit more aggressive. Got the two most prolific receivers in history. And there's a look at the scoring drive from the previous drive.
All right, our National Car Rental scoring drive. 8 plays, time 2 minutes and 30 seconds. A 6-yard touchdown run by Kelsey Lordius.
But back to the point about Delaware State for a second, Ronnie. You've shown the ability with Mims and Horsey and McCants to get downfield. As long as you're playing underneath, at this point, it looks to me like you're giving that quick defensive unit of Florida A&M an opportunity to come back up and attack you. And, of course, you're Delaware State. You got to feel confident right now. Your line has done a good job of protecting Rashawn Matthews. Your receivers have done a great job of getting open. Your quarterback has delivered strikes all afternoon.
You know what? 2nd and 10. But you know what? Was Billy Joe prepared for all of this? You know, he knew he was taking on Del State, but he knows that any time he takes on any team, they're prepared for the Rattlers. Let's hear what he had to say.
Of course, Delaware State had an outstanding football team last year. They won 4 MEAC games and, of course, lost 4 MEAC games, but there were a couple MEAC games that they lost, but they should have won. I thought they played North Carolina A&T in Greensboro extremely well. So Coach Ben Blacknall, the new coach, is an outstanding coach, has a lot of experience and expertise, been in the game for a long time. He's coached in the MEAC under Coach Jeffries for a long time, so he knows the MEAC teams.
All right, Coach Billy Joe. Right now we continue to play. 1 minute and 30 seconds left just before halftime. And we've got a ball game, Mark Gray. 14-14, the Del State Hornets and the FAMU Rattlers.
And I didn't see who called that last timeout, but Florida A&M is down to their last timeout. That leads me to believe that with 3rd and 8, they're going to try to stop Delaware State here and try to get that prolific offense back on the field and maybe steal a late score here, which could drastically alter the flow of this contest. And, you know, to this point, Coach Blacknall has to feel extremely good about how his talented team is playing thus far.
You know, Coach Blacknall is like that guy in the poker game who tells you he doesn't have a good hand. Who tells you why I'm even in this game, and then sure enough, he shows you he has more than he has. Delaware State has 2 timeouts remaining. FAMU has 1. It is 3rd and 9 on the 42.
Blacknall learned that poker ability from hanging around Willie Jeffries.
Hey, one of the best there is, and we're going to see Coach Willie Jeffries next week when Savannah State takes on South Carolina State down there in Orangeburg. Tony Mann was the intended receiver. However, he had a little company, and the company was John.
Well, Battle that time does a great job. Another one of those fast Miami guys from South Florida who made the trek north. He does a good job of staying in pursuit and getting the meat cleaver up. Maybe the backhand was there a little bit early, but it was away from the official. So if it's not seen and it's not called, it's a great play.
All right, stay with us at halftime because we will have our NUE band show, and also we will have a very special feature from NUE, our new partner, right here on the MEAC College Football Saturday.
Well, with 1:27 to go, a splendid first half could be all for naught if Florida A&M's offense is able to make something happen. And we've got some whistles on the field as we speak. And Isaac Brown back there the single safety has been a terror.
Ball was snapped. Ball was count, started, snap.
All right, set the quick is Aaron Quinn. There he is, number 11. He is their place kicker and their punter. There's the man who's set to receive it. Number 2, Isaac Brown of the Rattlers. This is going to be interesting with a minute 27 left to go just before halftime, knowing how quickly. And I'm gathered. Good enough. 1 minute remaining just before halftime. It is the ball on the 28.
That's Matt Folk in there, I believe, making the reception that time. Check that, T.J. Hines, wide receiver out of Tampa, Florida.
That'll make it 2nd and 7 from the 32-yard line.
And one thing about coaching at Florida A&M, you really don't have to leave the state to get talent.
One thing about FAMU, it doesn't take them long to score.
No, it doesn't. Kerry Darlington in there on the coverage that time. This is not a very good pass. It was in the general direction of Hines once again. But again, there have been times where certainly running the football, Gray has looked marvelous. But there have been some passes that I know he wished he could have back.
Well, you know, to his defense and to Matthews' defense, let's face it, this is their first game. They're nervous. There are some jitters. Second half, we may see some spectacular plays from both of these young men.
There it is. Nunley's out there.
Jacque Nunley. And, folks, that is a touchdown.
And I was wondering all first half, when are you going to send Nunley down the field, Ronnie? Little post pattern. He gets into the secondary, and a marvelous first half suddenly rendered meaningless for Delaware State.
Well, like I said, it doesn't take him long to score, and you can see once Gray gets plenty of time, he can go to his favorite receiver, number 85, Jacque Nunley, a two-time All-American receiver, 222 career catches coming into today's game.
That's a mark of a championship team. They have definitely not showed up in Dover today with their A game. Yet at the end of the first 30 minutes of football, it would appear that Florida A&M will go in with the lead.
And he got warned for the showboating, Jacque Nunley. And the point after is good. So we're going to stay with the action right now. 21-14.
Well, let's go ahead, Ronnie.
Let's take a look at this touchdown from a different angle. I'm talking about from the backside. Now watch what happens right around here.
The center of the field, you're going to see nobody out there but a guy wearing 85, and he just got past, I believe that was Darryl Cooper, a sophomore defensive back from Hampton, Virginia, who just frankly got taken to school by a senior. I know class doesn't start till like Monday or Tuesday around here, but class was definitely open on that play.
He was looking for a big game. I saw it before the game. He knows that he's a marked man. Let's face it, number 85, Jacque Nunley. And there's the man who threw in the pass. Obviously, that conversation that Coach Billy Joe had with Gray, it worked out.
Yeah, he told him to slide. Stop taking those shots.
He told him to throw the ball.
Indeed. I mean, you can throw it a lot better when you're seeing one receiver instead of three.
Nunley gets a little kiss on the head from one of his teammates. We saw that. 21-14, 41 seconds just to go before halftime. You know, Donna was saying that Coach Blacknall wanted the ball back just before halftime. Let's see what happens. Hey, let's take a look at our national car rental scoring drive. It took just 4 plays. The time was 1 minute and 20 seconds, and it was a 68-yard touchdown catch from Gray to Jacque Nunley. What a play.
Now, if you're Delaware State, it kind of puts you in a situation where you have to start thinking about getting a guy like McCants or Tommy Mims or Albert Horsey down the field. Put some pressure on the Florida A&M defensive backfield.
Dennis dropped the ball. Let's see what happens here. Wow. They may have him back at the 1-yard line.
Well, so much for trying to get those points back. If you're Delaware State right now, you probably, if you're down that far, down the football, go in at the half, take advantage of the opportunities that you get to open the second half, because you do get the ball to start the second stanza.
That could have been a dangerous play for a guy who is a veteran who has so much experience in returning punts and kickoffs, and I'm talking about Deshane Dennis.
Well, here we go. be interesting to see if Ben Blacknall is going to roll the dice.
Hey, ball's on the 3-yard line, 1st and 10. It's only 28 seconds left to go just before halftime.
And they'll be content to run out the clock and regroup. So, you know, for about 29 minutes of this game, it was a marvelous first half for Delaware State. But the last minute, if you give Florida A&M, you know, we'll look at two, if the situation plays out, Ronnie, we'll look at two critical decisions. A, there was a stop on 4th down when Delaware State had the momentum on those 2 dives, and then the long bomb right here with a little bit less than a minute to go. Those are the kind of plays when a championship caliber team has their backs against the wall that you got to make if you're going to upset them, and Delaware State was not able to do it.
What Coach Billy Joe is probably saying to Coach Blacknall's team, let's give them something to think about. 21-14, especially a half that you might say the Delaware State dominated with their superior play. However, when you look at the scoreboard at the half, it's all about the Rattlers of FAMU, 21-14.
And Florida A&M is going to force Delaware State to have to get one more snap off.
Let me give you some numbers on Quinn Gray in the first half. 14 of 29, 193 yards, the one big touchdown to Jacquay Nunley, 68 yards. Then when you talk about Nunley, 5 receptions for 125 yards, the long one being that 68-yard touchdown.
And so Matthews just downs it, and I think that's going to do it for the first half, Ronnie. A splendid first half, a better first half, I'm sure, than we both thought, because, you know, you have a prohibitive underdog hosting a championship caliber team, and a guy like Rashawn Matthews has certainly been up to the challenge for the first half, of Florida A&M at showing championship mettle.
Once again, it is 21-14 just at halftime, and obviously we're going to have Donna Hopkins down on the sideline, and she's going to try to get a conversation with Coach Blacknall. Donna?
With Coach Blacknall, you all pretty much kept them in check all game long, and at the very end, they struck on that 68-yard touchdown.
Yeah, you know, they got a hell of an offense. They made a couple of big plays, and we made a couple mistakes. But you know, it's a half, and we got to come back and make some plays if we want to win the ball game.
What will you tell your team at halftime?
We got to play better and make less mistakes.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right, Donna, good job.
Guys, back to you up in the booth.
All right, once again, it is 21-14, FAMU Rattlers over Delaware State. You're watching the MEAC College Football Saturday.
A national leader in the production of African Americans at the undergraduate degree level. Florida A&M University offers 100 bachelor's, 40 master's, and 9 PhD degrees. FAMU is one of the first institutions of higher learning nationwide to bring a wireless computer network to its campus. With no more than a card slipped into a laptop, students can log on to the internet from any point on campus. We're innovators at FAMU. Wherever you want to go in life, FAMU has the programs, the opportunities, and environment to help you get there.
FAMU Rattlers up 21-14 over Del State, and this is the MEAC College Football Saturday. The MEAC is proud to be in partner with the new Urban Entertainment Network. Let's hear from their CEO, Robert Townsend.
Welcome to New Urban Entertainment Television.
I'm Robert L. Townsend, President and Chief Operating Officer of New Urban Entertainment Television, New TV. As President and Chief Operating Officer of New TV, I'm responsible for everything. It is my responsibility to manage the day-to-day operations of the channel, to ensure that we are meeting the vision and the financial objectives that have been set for us. African Americans are a very robust group and grossly underserved in terms of their entertainment and information needs and their habits.
Hi, this is Lawrence Fishburne, and you're checking out NUE.
And so we developed New Urban Entertainment not only to serve that market, but to demonstrate to the world the robustness of our culture. What you can expect to see on this network, high-quality programming, both in what we acquire from the Hollywood studios.
Then you will address me as sir.
And what we produce ourselves.
You are
new people. And in the production value, what it looks like every day, the highest of quality. It will be entertaining. We will have movies. We will have comedies. We'll have series. We'll have specials.
6
trillion, man, he'll be sitting at the White House, man, talking about, hey, tell him I ain't got it, man.
We'll have sports like
On
MEAC
behalf of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference.
My experience at Howard as an undergraduate, some of the things that I really enjoyed, it was the Saturday afternoon football games where we got a chance to bond and meet others like ourselves, see others like ourselves, and the rivalry of other schools as well. To a certain degree, this channel was born in that experience, and that's why we're showing MEAC. I'm a real big football fan, and what I'm looking forward to is the Howard University, Hampton University game, to continue the controversy about who is the real HU. I know who's going to win. My daughters went to Hampton University, and they think they know who's going to win. HU is going to win, that's who. Although I didn't play football, I enjoyed the game. I did participate in athletics. I was captain of the track team. I wore the varsity H on my chest. And those were some of my most enjoyable experiences. That competition has helped me in my business career, what I've learned there. The student life. I'm currently a life member of Kappa Alpha Psi. All of that was part of forging a community of experiences that we hope to capture in this channel for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Townsend. We appreciate it. You're watching MEAC College Football Saturday. It's FAMU up 21-14. We'll be back with much more. One of the highlights is the NUE Band Show. Let's listen to the Delaware State Approaching Storm play a Black College Classic. I'm so proud.
Bring along. We're coming up with our first dance routine of the season.
University continues to preserve its rich past while embracing a promising future. Delaware State has entered the 23rd century as a leader in forming partnerships with other universities, government entities, and the private sector to improve educational opportunities for traditional and non-traditional students. From its nationally certified teacher education curriculum, world-renowned airway science program, and state-of-the-art academic facilities, Delaware State continues to live up to its commitment to excellence.
Coming to you live from Alumni Stadium on the campus of Delaware State in Dover, Delaware, and it is FAMU leading the Delaware State Hornets 21-14, and what an interesting game it has been. Ronnie Duncan along with Mark Gray. And Mark, I tell you what, I got a lot more than I bargained for in this game.
Well, you know, you got a team that comes in as a prohibitive favorite like Florida A&M, and I think they're a little shocked that Delaware State has actually played them tough, but they showed that championship medal at the end of the first half. That's why they lead.
All right, MEAC College Football Saturday. We've got some highlights for you. If you missed us in the first half, you don't want to turn the dial in the second half because we've got a barn burner for you. Talk about those highlights.
And it started in the first quarter with Quinn Gray. He scores on a 6-yard keeper. That started the scoring, and Florida A&M looked like they were ready to roll. But Delaware State would come right back. A 16-yard touchdown pass from Rashawn Matthews to Darnarian McCants, despite the pass interference, and Delaware State had tied it up.
All right, United States Postal Service highlights, and once again, when you talk about highlights, Mr. Matthews made it happen here. Talk about this play.
He finds Albert Horsey on a 45-yard touchdown pass, and at that point, Delaware State had all the momentum, and yeah, big fella, you got the job done. Here might have been the play of the first half. Quinn Gray, showing toughness, gets his bell rung. He is literally knocked out. After a couple of plays, though, he comes back, gives the ball to Kelsey Lourdes, dances to the outside, breaks a couple tackles, falls into the end zone, so we're tied at 14. And then right at the end of the first half, inside a minute to go, great field generalship, a tremendous pass, and Jacquay Nunnally, 20 yards behind the nearest defender. Yeah, fella, you earned your opportunity to dance in the end zone, and that's where we are. Florida A&M leading 21-14.
All right, now let's take a look at our Xerox halftime stats, and as you can see, the FAMU Rattlers are putting up the yards, 125 passing. It's DSU, 134 to 110. 68 of those 110 came on that touchdown in Jacquay Nunnally. And time of possession, I think that's where you can see where FAMU and why they have the lead, 16-13, and they lead by a touchdown, 21-14, Mark.
But it's been anything but an aesthetically pleasing game. 6 Florida A&M penalties, 1 for Delaware State. First game jitters. We've seen a lot of bad passes. I think we're going to see an even better second half coming up when they told me to.
The head coach of Florida A&M. Hey, Coach, you all jumped out to that, had that big 68-yard touchdown strike in the end of the quarter.
Yes, we did. We managed to hit them with a couple quick plays, quick runs, quick passes. But I must say, Coach Ben Blacknall has his ball players ready to play. They're well prepared, well coached, and we have our hands full here this afternoon.
Hey, Coach, what did you tell your team at halftime?
Well, that we just have to discipline ourselves and not beat ourselves. We've missed some key blocks. Penalties have hurt us real bad. We've had, drop passes, misthrown passes. We're really hurting ourselves. If we could just settle down and play fundamentally sound Rattler football, I think we'll be okay the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, we're ready for an exciting second half. Back to the guys up in the booth.
All right, Donna, we appreciate it so much. And, of course, hearing those comments from the coach, Billy Joe. And I tell you what, Donna's been doing an outstanding job all game long. She's been a great addition to the MEAC College Football Saturday. It is 21-14. That's the way we stand just before the start of the third quarter. What an exciting game, Mark Gray. And I tell you what, it's going to get better, but I'm looking forward to seeing some more from that young man. I'm talking about Rashawn Matthews. He has impressed me, trying to make it to the top of the record books at Delaware State. And you know what? he's going to make it.
Well, you know, the thing I like about Rashawn Matthews is that he is in command of his offense. And I didn't think in the first half that Quinn Gray looked like he was in command of the Rattler offense until, you know, ironically enough, he had gotten his bell rung. But Matthews has shown the ability to get the ball to his receivers and an opportunity for them to, as we like to say on campus, do some work. On the other side, Quinn Gray has not done the job of getting his receivers the ball in great operating position. Granted, he's 14 of 29 for 193, but again, until that Jacque Nunnally touchdown, it was one of those situations where he looked like he was still trying to find himself. If I'm Del State, though, I'm going to attack Florida A&M in the second half. Forget this conservative nonsense, wings and things. I'm going to chuck it because I haven't seen a defensive back that's been able to cover my big, fast receivers all game. I put the burden on 4 new guys that are starting in the secondary for FAMU to beat me in the second half.
If you want Del State to be even more impressive, I think going at them with the large receivers will do it. Let's face it, McCants has been on the end of plays, whether he's caught them or missed the reception, to the point where he could have made something happen. And I think your criticism of Quinn can be granted, but when you look at the numbers are still impressive. 14 to 29. He has had ups and downs. Remember, he's dealing with some new units. There's no more Demetrius around to throw the ball to when you had Jacque Nunnally, who was hurt. Let's listen into what's going on here.
Come on, hit it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, fella. Beat him, dog. Come on.
I tell you what, that's a team sounding full of confidence. Coach Ben Blacknall, he says we can beat them.
Referee let you know.
And let's go to the USA where he's quarterback comparison, Ronnie, and this will clearly illuminate. You look at Quinn Gray, is 11 of 25 for 110 yards. Rashawn Matthews, 8 of 13, 134 yards. What's most impressive? Between the two quarterbacks, 3 interceptions, no INTs, and this is game 1 of the season. That speaks volumes about their competence with regards to running these two respective offenses.
I tell you what, the most impressive thing to me is neither guy has given it up as far as the interception is concerned, and we've seen some very close ones. Let's face it, Deshane almost came through with some big plays earlier today.
It's been a first half of ifs and buts for Delaware State. If they pick off that pass and if it leads to a touchdown, then they're up still, or at least tied at the end of the first half.
If you've been wondering about that young man, where has he been? Well, folks, that's Jacque Nunnally, one of the best wide receivers in the country on any division label. And then when you look at this young man, number 21, I'm talking about the Hornets, Mr. All-Everything, Deshane Dennis, and he is set to return, and it's going to be the kickoff of the third quarter to get us started with the second half of football with FAMU leading 21-14. Mark?
And from our oh yeah, by the way department, Jacque Nunnally caught 5 balls in the first half. And oh yeah, by the way, he picked up 125 yards. Now, when you're counting down,
those are Mark Gray numbers.
Mark Gray in like 1978, playing in C.C. Jackson Rec Center on the west side of Baltimore.
All right, the return wasn't that impressive. That was Tommy Mims. That's a name that we haven't heard a lot of in the first half, and he's one of the key players for the Del State Hornets.
Well, I get the feeling that Mims and Horsey and McCants will see a lot of balls deep downfield in the second half. I was amazed that Delaware State, I really was impressed with their speed. You know, you look at a team in practice as we did yesterday, you see a team and they look pretty fast, but that's practice speed. Delaware State is a lot faster from a foot speed standpoint than we gave them credit for at the skill positions, and FAMU's DBs face a tall order in the second half.
All right, 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. Rashawn Matthews is your quarterback. The give. And here it is. I'm talking about Braylon King.
King just absorbing punishment right now. And when you're the main running back in a wing T set, you're going to take some shots. And that's exactly what King has been doing for the last couple of years or so.
All right, prior to that carry, he had 4 carries for 19 yards in the first half. No gain there. Didn't appear to be, but we've got a player out on the field, number 72, and that is Haney. Haney is down.
Yeah, the junior 300-pound offensive lineman is a critical component to the success. We'll try to catch the injury on this replay right here. Trying to see if maybe somebody might have fallen or rolled over on him. Let's pull it out and see what happens here. This is King. And Vickers doing a good job of bringing him down. And let's see. Looks like somebody clipped him perhaps from the back. And he falls down. And that would be a devastating loss, because this kid has experience. He's a junior. He's been through the wars. You know, he knows the intricacies of this offense, and that's one of those security valves for Rashawn Matthews. But it looks like he's moving around a little bit.
And obviously on the bench, there's some players that are holding their heads and saying, please, let not this happen. It is second down, 5 yards to go. We're on the 15-yard line. We're going to come back with much more of this game on the MEAC College Football Saturday in just a few seconds. There he is walking off gingerly, and Mark, you got to be concerned about such a big player who can do so many big things for you.
And Haney is mobile, he's agile, he's got a hostile streak about him, one might say. And right now, he is fragile.
Second down, 5 to go, ball on the 15. Has a flag on the play.
Okay, we have definitely eclipsed that 8 flag mark this afternoon.
Hard against the offense. Second down.
And that's another one of those first game jittery plays reminiscent of a team that's trying to get into the habit of coming off the ball in a wing T set as opposed to playing that drop back pro set type of passing scheme.
Let's put things in proper perspective. Blacknall's first game as a head coach. If he wins it, what does it mean to this program?
Oh, it's an immediate shot of credibility. Immediate. They'll enhance recruiting and the like. Oh, man. Boy, I tell you, that was awfully close to a late hit, and we've got a late flag down there. Looked like Matthews might have been down, and I'm anxious to see if they're going to flag somebody for being a little overzealous defensively.
Well, Cedric Bird is there on the tackle, Mark, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the flag. And it looks like FAMU is saying the flag is against the Hornets.
Thrown in the general area of holding.
Holding against the offense. Penalty decline. Third down.
According to my official stats, you've been right on just about every flag.
I don't know what that says.
It says you're pretty good.
Oh, please. You're far too kind. All right, here we go. 3rd and 10. We talked about emotional breaking points in the first half for Florida A&M on that 4th down situation where they stuffed Del State. I think it's critical for Del State, even if they don't get points here, to try to get a first down. They got to take the pressure off of their defense right now.
And that play, they got very little for 3rd and long.
Well, you know something? I'm a little shocked that Delaware State did not go back and try to attack Florida A&M. It's almost as though they forgot that they had success getting people deep. You know, Darnarian McCants got deep a couple of times. And look at the meat. Look at these are some big young fellas, as a lot of coaches in college football like to call them big nasties. Those are some big nasties at Del State.
I'll tell you this much, Jamal Jackson, the young man you just saw, 3:30. Guess who ain't coming to my house for dinner?
No time soon. Can you imagine what it's like when these kids go home for Thanksgiving? And it's blocked.
The punt is blocked. Wow, what a play. Special teams always find a way to make an integral and an impressionable factor in a football game. And look at that marker out of bounds. You see it right there, Mark.
1st and goal with inches to go. And once again, you know, the special teams so early in the season, as we saw even on the 1A level last week in the Kickoff Classic. You know, people talked about USC dominating Penn State. It was their special teams that turned the momentum of that game. Here you're looking at a situation right here, a block punt just really starts putting the noose around the Hornets' neck right now, and now the doubt has to start creeping in on them.
Well, the other thing is that you don't want to give a team like the Rattlers anything, and anytime you give them something, they will take advantage of your mistakes.
Indeed. And
we got another player down. Let's take a look at that block punt one more time, Mark Gray, and you tell me what you're seeing in it.
Well, just watch a couple of blown assignments, and then you just get pressure from the far side, and it looked like, I believe that was number 5, Alex Fortson, a sophomore reserve linebacker who blocked the kick. And despite the team speed, the Rattlers were not able to haul that ball in before it goes out of bounds. But we've got one of the big players down in the trenches who is experiencing some significant discomfort right now.
Let's go downstairs to Donna Hopkins. Donna?
Hey, guys, I got some information on that injury. It's the left knee. He's limping a little bit, but they said he'll be back in on the next play. Back to you in the booth.
All right, Donna, we appreciate it so much, keeping us informed of what's happening during the game.
And he was talking about Ronicky Haney, the junior offensive lineman, from Claymont, Delaware. So Delaware doing an outstanding job of recruiting in state right now. And, you know, you talk to a couple of people that are familiar with this program who were around during the John McKenzie era, and they talked about how McKenzie's a tremendous offensive mind, but he used to like to recruit down south. And while that's a great and fertile talent pool, it's kind of difficult to convince a kid from Miami to come up here and play football in November in Delaware. So you got to recruit in your Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey area.
All right, let's look at the Target MEAC schedule. And right now, Hampton has a 3-0 lead over New Hampshire at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Bethune-Cookman against Savannah State. And then, of course, it's going to be North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T at 4 o'clock later on today. And by the way, that Hampton game has moved into the second quarter.
Actually, the 4 o'clock game is the Chicago Classic between Howard and Jackson State. That A&T Central game is tomorrow afternoon on the campus of North Carolina State in Raleigh. And that is you want to talk about one of the more heated rivalries in college football. There it is right there. A&T and Central, no love lost there at all.
All right, Virginia State and Norfolk State, that's later today. Howard and Jackson State, a game which you alluded to. Winston-Salem State taking on South Carolina State, who we will see next week when they will host Savannah State on the campus of Orangeburg, South Carolina. And Coach Willie Jeffries, and there's a talented young running back down there who put on quite a show when we had the game against Howard last season.
Chad Edey is a legitimate NFL prospect, and when you start talking about South Carolina State, everybody talks about their defense, putting guys like Robert Porcher and Anthony Cook into the league, but Kenny Bynum will probably be starting for the San Diego Chargers at running back. And Chad Edey reminds me a great deal of Kenny Bynum when he was running up and down the sidelines here in the MEAC. I'm wondering, is this a cramp? Is this some dehydration?
It may be dehydration. That's something I alluded to earlier because of the heat and humidity. But don't forget, next week, we're going down to South Carolina State, Orangeburg, South Carolina, 12 noon. That's the kickoff time and all the kickoff times for the games. And I'm talking about the MEAC College Football Saturday when they take on Savannah State. I'm talking about the Bulldogs. And you know what? Always I look forward to seeing Coach Willie Jeffries. What a classy guy. And he was the king of comedy at the luncheon.
And also Bill Davis. It's great to see him back, one of the legendary coaches, back at Savannah State. And let me tell you something. Savannah State gave the NFL Shannon Sharp, and there's always some talent down there.
All right, we're back to action right now, and this is first down on the 1. Is it purely academic?
I think so. And there it is. Touchdown.
And that's Lourdes with a touchdown. Oh, he fumbled! He fumbled! The fumble was picked up, but the play was ruled dead.
Well, he broke the plane before he fumbled.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes, he did. But let's face it, you talk about this excitement. Terry Darlington was saying, hey, man, I'm about to go in for 6 the opposite way.
Yeah, it was definitely. Now watch. You'll see him break the line here. Just a tough running back. Everybody talks about him as a scat back. Yeah, he had broken the plane and had already fallen in when the shot came in and jarred the ball loose. So
yeah,
good
Anthony
call.
Davis got in. I tell you what, man, that was a huge play. That was a huge play. Corey Hutchins actually got in and popped the ball loose, maybe a second too late.
What the fake?
Here we are with the point after. And it is good.
Vasquez with a great soccer kick from the Mia Hamm School of field goal kicking.
A recovery MEAC College Football Saturday continues after this. 5 in the third quarter, and it is 28-14 now. FAMU, the Rattlers. And now it's time to take a look at our national car rental scoring drive, and it was easy. I'm talking about a 1-yard plunge by Mr. Lourdes. The kick is up. Dennis receives it. Dennis is across the 20. Looks like he's going to be stopped. He takes some back steps, and he's there about the 17-yard line.
Well, I really believe, I hate to beat a dead horse, but you got to loosen the reins on the offense now. Ball control and conservative approach is not going to get you back into this contest, and Florida A&M has suddenly made the major adjustment. They're not kicking the ball anywhere in the direction of Deshane Dennis.
And players are going down left and right. This appears to be a reoccurring scene by our videographers out there. Every time a player goes down, we're right on it, and that's going to keep a very busy day for Donna Hopkins. Now let's take a look at the National Car Rental Scoring Drive. And it looks a little something like this. It happened. There he is. I'm talking about Lorius going in from 1 yard out, even though he fumbled the football. It was after the play, and that was your National Car Rental scoring drive. Remember, green means go with National Car Rental. Call 1-800-CAR-RENT or book online at www.nationalcar.com.
Going off the field for Delaware State is Corey Hutchins, the junior tight end. But number 31, Richard Mason, did an outstanding job. He was just a little short, but he put a big-time lick on Lourdes. He was around the 20-yard line. We'd have seen the momentum of the game change immeasurably on that play.
All right, 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. If the Hornets want to put the big sting on the Rattlers, they got to make something happen here. Give off the side to Kevin Hanks. Kevin Hanks gains about 5 yards on the play.
And he paid for it, boy. He came around on the little sweep action, and he ran into a sea of white and orange. And again, I don't think we've seen a passing play on 1st down in this half by Del State. And I think that's playing into the hands of Florida A&M's defense right now.
Well, one thing they could be trying to do is mix up their offense. Obviously, Matthews is capable of throwing the ball a long distance. And obviously, you got to look toward McCants to getting the ball. McCants with the reception, but it was only for about a gain of maybe a yard.
Blitz coming up from the inside that time, and basically Matthews did yeoman work just to get the ball out of there. I mean, it's just amazing that he had enough poise. Watch the pressure coming through the middle and from the outside. Daly getting pressure from the outside, and he found his man across the middle. That's field generalship right there, Ronnie. That's a guy that has command of his offense and knows where people are going to be. They didn't pick up any yardage, but they didn't lose any anyway.
All right, 3rd and 2 on the 25-yard line. Matthews under the center. Matthews rolling out. Matthews almost found a but it was picked off. The first interception of the day, and that was Alex Forson. Man, he made the quite big leap, and he was there for the pickings. Alan Forson for the FAMU Rattlers with the big interception. Everyone talks about their offense, but you don't win as many games as Billy Joe has won over the years unless you have an exceptional defense. Matthews rolling out, and you can see there, one hand on the football and making sure not that he batted away, batted it right back to himself.
Another member of that talented Miami Northwestern High School that has produced so many great college players. And now Florida A&M right now is in a position where with 11.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, they can deliver a dagger right here. It's a critical situation for Delaware State's defense to try to step up and make something happen.
All right, ball is on the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. And the give is to Lorius. Lorius is able to cross the 20. He's around the, 16-yard line.
You just can't coach what he just did. He got to the outside. He broke a couple of tackles. He just carefully weaved his way through the Delaware State defense. See, look, I thought he would stop right there. Feet keep moving. Dance to the outside. We're going to string it a little farther. Oh, no, you can't bring me down either. So I'll slide inside, break 3 or 4 tackles, pick up about 7 yards. That's just an outstanding individual effort. Maybe Florida A&M has found that running game, that consistent running game they've been looking for the last 4 years.
2nd and 2, Lorius with the give, and Lorius may have gotten another 1st down as he takes it across the 15-yard line.
Boy, he's solid. This kid just has great feet, exceptional vision, and an explosion. He's got the combination of speed and power, and he also can catch the ball. Very talented, versatile offensive back.
And that's another 1st down for the Rattlers of FAMU. We'll be in Tallahassee.
Wow, in about 6 weeks?
That's right.
Oh, look at Gray.
Look at Gray.
You see, Billy Joe told him.
No. I think that was that Mark Gray coaching saying, young man, we don't want you to pound on everybody. Take the slide. Now, you don't have to show us you're the baddest man on campus.
You know good and well we had the great split screen of Billy Joe giving advice to Quinn Gray, and I assure you that when you were reading his lips, he was saying, Quinn, slide, brother, slide.
It's 2nd and 6. Ball is on the 10-yard line. Quinn Gray in the back. Field, his shotgun motion. Gray back to pass. And he's found a receiver. You know, inside the 5-yard line at the 4, and that's Jacquay Nunley.
That'll give him about another 5 or 6 yards on his total as he tries to catch Jerry Rice. But let's go down to the field to Donna Hopkins with an injury update. Donna?
Hey, guys. Derek Gray, you know what? He's suffering a little bit with the heat. He was suffering with cramps, but he's back out there now.
All righty.
You in the booth.
Okay, thanks a lot, Donna. We appreciate it. Kelsey Lordias with the give. Kelsey Lordias in the end zone. And that, my friend, is a 3-yard touchdown for Kelsey Lordias. Once again, he's showing his stuff out here. He says the game's on national TV. Everybody's watching me. Mommy, did you see me get into the end zone? Way to go, Kelsey.
Mommy seeing her baby boy have a big game thus far, Ronnie. Look at this guy. Just hits the hole, breaks another tackle, finds one of the big nasties, gets right behind him, and he goes right into the end zone. Nice job of blocking that time by James Agnew, a senior out of L.A., who just opened the hole for Lordias.
All right, Juan Vasquez with the extra point. That's good. And it's 35-14. The FAMU Rattlers continue to pour it on. You're watching the MEAC College Football Saturday, 35-14, FAMU. Continue to put the folks into the pros, and they are one of the elite among the MEAC schools. Right now it's 35-14. You're watching the MEAC College Football Saturday. Ronnie Duncan along with Mark Gray, and you talk about fan support. I don't care where they play. We were in Boone, North Carolina last season, and they came out to watch. All right, Shane Dennis downs the ball in the end zone. They're bringing it out to the 20-yard line.
Well, now do you think Ben Blacknall will open up the offense, Ronnie?
He has no other plan but to do so, because right now he is behind by a whole lot, and you see it on the scoreboard, 35-14. Hey, there's some Del State cheerleaders.
Well, at least somebody still is pumped.
Hey, you can always count on the cheerleaders to bring that extra momentum to you, to keep you pumped while you're playing, and keep the fans pumped just watching them do their things. Remember, they're athletes too. You ever try to do any of those cheers?
I tried a split once and was not able to get up for a week.
James Brown, you are not.
No, not at all. I'm not even downtown Julie Brown these days.
At that time, Rashawn Matthews, was trying to go to McCants downtown.
And there were 3 defensive backs out there that had pretty much, if it were basketball, it would have been a triangle defense. Watch him. The ball is out there. McCants has no chance. You see one receiver, and there's another cornerback and a third one coming back in that situation. So, you know, it's one of those situations where FAMU right now is looking for Del State to go deep. Now you might have to start thinking about working underneath.
Ball to McCants, but it's intercepted right there. Johnny on the spot. Darnell Vickers.
Well, they tried to go underneath. A little bit of pressure kind of forced a high pass, and that's INT number 2 on the season for Rashawn Matthews.
And he had McCants with his hands on the ball, but there's Vickers being Johnny on the spot. Once again, the Rattlers come up with a huge play.
Well, Ronnie, let's ask you this. You're talking about if you get your hands on it, you're supposed to haul it in. Is that a pass that a receiver's supposed to haul in?
I think so.
Please.
I think so.
You may not always be right, but you're never wrong. Is that what it is?
This way, I never back down the way I think that I'm right.
Okay.
And there's somebody else who thought he should have caught the pass too.
Yeah, it's quarterback.
There he is, still sliding inside the 20. I'm talking about Quinn Gray.
But we have some laundry down, and there'll be a holding call against Florida A&M in the interior of the offensive line. So Quinn Gray's run will go for naught. But his defense has done a great job of taking the pressure off of him in the second half. Florida A&M has not had to embark on any significantly long drives. And then when a guy like Kelsey Lordias is running the ball as effectively as he is in this game, it's going to make Quinn Gray a much better quarterback.
.8:42 in the third quarter, 35-14. And as you see, myteam.com always showing and great support for MEAC College Football Saturday. Gray gives off to Kelsey Lordius. Lordius busts through. He's inside the 28-yard line.
Boy, in Florida A&M's undersized offensive front, if you can talk about an undersized offensive front averaging about 290 pounds, they are just doing a tremendous job of blasting Delaware State 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. But Lordius might have fallen on the ball or something. He is lying down, and he has not twitched.
I tell you what, he had a lot of tonnage on top of him. Watch him here, number 6, Kelsey Lordius. He's been running hard, but you can't run through all the big fellas, and he goes down. And look at that. Let's hope it's nothing serious, because this young man has had one heck of a game this afternoon here in Dover, Delaware. Alumni Stadium, and he's slow to get up.
Billy Joe talked to us at the preseason kickoff luncheon in Washington about having a little scat back, you know, the kind of guy that could get outside and make some things happen. Well, this is a young fellow who last season only gained 43 total yards on 8 carries, but he averaged almost 5 yards a clip. So he showed in spare usage that he could be very, very effective. And he's moving right now like they're touching his shoulder. And I'm just hoping it's not a separation of some kind.
You know, he's waited so long to get this prime time playing opportunity, and to see a young man go down with the injury like this is just so stunning. We hope that it's nothing extremely serious, and hopefully he can recover sooner than we think. Let's take a look at it one more time, Mark, because we've got some great camera shots of this angle. He's number 6 in the white uniform, and he will come into your picture right here. Watch it very closely. It looks like it could be a shoulder injury.
Wow, there's a helmet to the hip.
Shot
now watch.
Delivered.
Then he falls, and he's on his shoulder, and somebody hit him on his shoulder. So I've seen guys before when they have their shoulder driven into the ground and another guy falls on them, it could lead to a bit of a separation. Now, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, but that is one of those situations. Look at the way he's holding his arm right now, and that could be a devastating blow for the Rattlers, because this is an element that, despite the MEAC championship and despite winning a couple of games in the NCAA 1AA playoffs last year, this is an element that has been missing, a consistent go-to running back who can move the chains for you, especially when you're protecting a lead.
Now you got to look at who they could possibly bring in, and it could be Kendall Johnson, number 30, who happens to be the backup. And Billy Joe has got to be concerned, because when someone has such an impressive showing as Kelsey Lordius has, it's impressive.
Well, suddenly
OJ could be coming in. I'm talking Marchbank. He could be in. He's a senior. He's been there before. He's number 30.
But Nunnally right now is assuming a role in the offensive backfield and is lining up as a setback. We saw that a couple of times in the first half.
Well, a lot of people may look at a Jacque Nunnally on size and say he's pretty diminutive in his size, but he can do so many great things, and obviously one of his great abilities is running once he catches the football, so he is a tremendous runner. Quinn Gray, a little jump to Jacque Nunnally. Nunnally turning around the 30-yard line. He's pushed out of bounds at around about the 27.
I think this one is going to come back. Going to have some kind of a little holding or maybe an illegal use of hands, because it looked like as that play was developing to the near sideline, one of the FAMU Rattlers might have had his hands in some precarious situation. Watch, as we swing outside right here, there's somebody, maybe we just missed it, but I think there was an illegal use of hands or a holding of some kind.
Holding against the offense. Going to be 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Well, let's check out the penalty right here. We're going to watch some hands in a bad situation. See, there you go right there. That's a block in the back. That is, my friends, a hold. You have got to get in front of that shoulder in order for it not to be a hold. And that time, Florida A&M was caught. And now we've got a major summit meeting. This first summit meeting I've seen in quite a long time that wasn't covered by CNN.
Second down.
There's a timeout on the field.
Playing the role of Kofi Annan is Hardy Cobb.
And now it's time in. Quinn Gray looking for a receiver. Gray has one. And it was just too long, just a few inches too long. I'm telling you, man, Gray is trying to get all the points. Well, go Junius.
Look, this is a play where Junius just takes Deshaun Matthews to school. Look at him. He's wide open. You're not going to even see the guy. Well, he's barely in your screen. He was beaten badly. That time, Quinn Gray just led his receiver a bit too far.
They say it's a game of inches, and true it is. Third, 22 yards to go, 37-yard line. Gray's got the pass in the situation. Here he is rolling out, and he's got a receiver, Jacquay Nunley. Nunley past the 20-yard line, but it won't be enough for a first down. Inside the 20 for Nunley.
Nunley just, you know, it's a naked boot to the far side. Watch. And everybody's out there in the pattern. And what happens is you send your fast receivers down and you clear out and let Nunley work across the middle underneath. And that's what he does. Now, in that situation, I know he was trying to pick up the first down, leading by 14 points. Don't risk your body. Got to admire his heart and his toughness in that situation. Now O.J. Marchbanks has checked in. He is that setback who is lined up in the offensive backfield, now behind Quinn Gray.
They're going for it. No confidence in the kicking game. 4th and 3 yards to go on the 19-yard line. And that is a first down. And that was O.J. Marchbank rushing in for the first down. Just coming into the game for Kelsey Lodius and picking up where Kelsey left off.
Well, he's known as more of a between the tackles type of runner. Doesn't necessarily possess the breakaway speed, but an excellent blocker. Now you see, watch him. This is nothing fancy. It's a blast. He'll look for one hole. It closes quickly. Then he just sticks his head under and drives the Delaware State defense back.
At that time, Quinn Gray almost had another touchdown into the end zone. Stepped up in the pocket, being flushed out. Unfortunately for the Rattlers, it's a little too long.
Well, Quinn Gray gets outside, showing he's mobile, and he buys himself some time looking into the back of the end zone, and that should have been caught. You know, I hate to sound like you, Mr. Duncan, but Charles Allen has to haul that one in.
It's okay to sound like me.
Speak for yourself.
There he is, O.J. Marchbank. Touchdown, is it? No, he was out on the end zone at about the 2-yard line, but he was diving in for the touchdown. Marchbank almost came in with 6 on his side.
Let's take a look at it. Marchbanks on the fake. I think he wanted to go up the middle. Nothing was there, so he tried to go outside. Nothing was there, so he takes it far to the outside, and he's almost able to take it into the end zone. They tell me that Marchbanks isn't a speed guy. They tell me this is a guy who doesn't hit the hole that well. He looked pretty swift to me.
Well, a lot of people tell you things.
You get the feeling that when you're a reporter, sometimes people don't tell you the truth.
Quinn going out, and stretched out there was Jacquay Nunley.
Maybe he should have had that one. Got to haul those in. But that's the difference between being a 6'3 receiver and being a 5'10 receiver. There's nothing fancy right here. It's just a quick little square out. He's open in the end zone. Got to lay out and haul that in.
Quinn Gray, quarterback keeper, and he goes in for the touchdown. Once again, 6 on his side.
So the Rattlers have gotten that offense rolling here in the second half. Once again, it's Quinn Gray taking the burden of proof and putting it on himself as he is put on his back in the end zone after 6.
I'm impressed with Mr. Gray, and as the fans look at this game, they've got to be impressed with him too. 41-14. Point after is getting ready to go up.
I'm amazed that Quinn Gray has seemingly gotten better after he got his bell rung.
And the point after is good by Juan Vasquez. Let's take a look one more time. Quinn Gray getting into the end zone the easy way with the quarterback keeper holding on to the football. He's the big fella, and he goes in for 6 on their side. 42-14, the FAMU Rattlers.
This is the kind of game, Ronnie, that will give the Florida A&M offense and the big nasties up front a lot more confidence in Gray than if he had like 6 touchdown passes or something like that when everything is clicking. I think psychologically, when you see your field general take a shot and then come back and perform like this, he grabs the respect of that team, and he also earns their confidence. And what we may have witnessed in the first half is the blossoming of Quinn Gray. This is a guy who had a very long summer. I talked to him about it after the ill-fated pass at Youngstown State. And let's go downstairs to Donna Hopkins right now with an injury update. Donna?
Hey, guys. Kelsey Lourdes has a dislocated left shoulder. He is through from the day. They took him into the trainer's room to ice down that shoulder. Back to you in the booth.
Wow, some sad news to hear. And Mark, you called it. You said you thought it was a shoulder situation. Obviously, we were not hoping for the worst, and that is the worst. We wish that young man a speedy recovery, and I know there are so many people down in Tallahassee throughout the country are praying for his recovery. Shane Dennis crossing the 30-yard line, and that is not bad. However, there's a flag after the play, and we'll have to see when the officials congregate and see what they come up on this one.
I would venture to say that there was some fisticuffs or a face mask or something going on down there after that, Ronnie. It's the type of situation where if you've been working as hard as Delaware State is and you play so well in the first half and you watch it start slipping away from you, you can be a little bit frustrated. But what's going through Ben Blacknall's mind right now? What can he be thinking that he can do to get his team back on track? Things look so promising for the first 30 minutes of the game, but suddenly Florida A&M has stepped up, and that penalty is assessed against Delaware State.
Yeah, but I think he has to be proud of this team because of the simple fact of how they hung out.
First down.
I think he has to be proud of this team of how they hung in the first half, with undoubtedly one of the favorites to win the MEAC this season.
We haven't talked about it. Who do you like? Do you like FAM? Do you like A&T? Or is there somebody going to come out of nowhere?
Obviously, you're always going to have a dark horse. It's going to come out of nowhere. I think when you look at pure football talent and how they keep continuing to not rebuild but reload at Florida A&M, I've got to go with the Rattlers. But you know what? There's a guy by the name of Mr. Billy Hayes down in North Carolina A&T who will disagree with you in a big-time way.
I'm going to give my kiss of death to A&T to win it all.
Boy, they could have better people on their side.
I do think that might have qualified as a shot, Mr. Duncan.
Hey, nah. I've got nothing but love for you. It is 42-14. And the bench is saying we've got another quarter of football left to go, and it's 5:25 and counting down before the fourth quarter.
If you look closely, they're really saying, we didn't have to practice 2 weeks for this.
2nd and 7. To give the Grayland King, and he's brought down.
And what was once a hot and muggy, bright day has suddenly become gray and overcast. It's still muggy, and you get the feeling that the rains will be making their way in here shortly. And that certainly does not bode well for a team that's going to have to go up top to try to come back.
You know, I thought it was going to rain today, as a matter of fact, during the football game. I went out this morning looking for an umbrella just to make sure.
Well, did you find the umbrella?
No, the store wasn't open yet. They opened it. Matthews looking back to pass. He's going deep. And that pass was intended for McCants. However, there could be a penalty on the play. And obviously somebody is upset about it. And I'm talking about Darnell Vicker.
Well, I know Darnell is a little bit upset. He's a little heated that call was made because it looked like it may have been an uncatchable pass, but he was early. And I was just wondering whether or not, see, watch right here. He's beaten, and then he just grabs him a little bit, and he was overzealous in his attempt to play the receiver instead of the ball. You got to make a play on the ball.
Disregard the flag. Disregard the flag.
An uncatchable ball. It had to be ruled that it was uncatchable.
Good call, Mark Gray.
That was definitely a tough pass to catch, but there was some early contact. But again, you got to have a realistic chance of catching the ball if you're going to be assessed a pass interference penalty.
Yeah, that puts the Hornets in a punting situation. Aaron Quinn will be your punter, number 11, set to receive. For the Rattlers, Isaac Brown. 4:32 left just before the fourth quarter. 42-14. Ronnie Duncan along with Mark Gray and Donna Hopkins on the sideline. Punt is up. Isaac Brown feels it at the 40. He's at the 50. He's at the 45. He's inside the 40-yard line. Nice return there for Isaac Brown.
Well, we have a flag back at about the Rattler 45-yard line. And I'm just wondering, was that a hold or a clip of some kind? Because as soon as he exploded, watch right here. You'll see Brown take it. Nice high kick, but watch him. He had a little bit of trouble hauling this ball in. All right, collects himself, and then there's a clip right there, blocking the back.
Yeah, that was Neil Colsey out there, and you just can't do that on special teams.
The proverbial illegal block in the back above the waist.
Illegal block in the back against the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Now, back in the day, it was just called clipping.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line. Quinn Gray. The mighty Quinn. Going back for a mighty pass. He's got a man wide open across the 40-yard line. T.J. Hines.
T.J. Hines going across the middle. Simple little square in from the near side, and he plants himself right in the center of the field. And this time, Gray delivers a strike. He looks a lot more confident. His feet are setting up. You know, it wasn't a textbook pass from in terms of tight spiral and right between the numbers, but it gave his receiver a chance to make the catch.
As I was saying earlier, I thought it was just a matter of time because of all the talent this young man possesses. O.J. marked right, but he's brought down for a loss. Finally brought down by number 90, Brandon Yarber, sophomore defensive lineman.
And we still have not called number 2's name yet this afternoon. Otto Pope, who is a preseason all-conference selection, who had a tremendous 99 campaign with 67 tackles and 7 sacks. Not one today.
T.J. Hines intended to be the receiver on that play, but the ball went right through his hand.
He does have to catch that. You got to catch that pass. You know something? That pass right there was thrown better than the one he climbed the ladder to catch, a pass play in his direction to go.
Third down and 10 from the 39-yard line. Rattlers, as they have been known to do, love to put points on the board. They never stop the bleeding, even if you think you've stopped.
Well, I tell you, Billy Joe goes for the jugular. That's all he does. People call it running up the score. It's just taking advantage of the talent that you have.
Almost definitely, because you put kids in game day situations that otherwise would have been watching on the sidelines. Quinn Gray finally brought down. And hey, there's your man, Mr. Polk. He said, you didn't call my name? You should have called out for him earlier.
I guess I should have
made a bigger play.
Watch him string it to the near side once again.
But
Great
I have to admit, he was lucky. He just simply ran into that play.
Hey, sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're good.
See, watch.
And the pressure actually ran him into Mr. Polk. So Polk has done a good job all afternoon of containing plays. He hasn't gotten any real tackles up until that point, and that says a lot for a tremendous offensive scheme by Florida A&M. When you design an offensive scheme and you pretty much take away the best defensive player of the opposition, you've done an outstanding job. And once again, we've got these cramp situations. Humidity is wreaking havoc right now.
Tell me about it. It's pretty warm up here, too. All right, let's take a look at things here.
Well, we can't see if somebody may have rolled on a leg or ankle or something. Man.
All right, let's go downstairs to Donna Hopkins. Donna?
Hey, guys, I know you would love to be down here right now, and I'm with Ashley Coleman, Miss Teen USA. Ashley, what was it like for, last week you gave up your crown. What was it like being Miss Teen USA?
It was a wonderful experience, definitely a lot of fun. I was a freshman in college here at Delaware State also, so it was kind of busy.
What was the most important thing about serving as Miss Teen USA?
The most important thing, I think, was going out to kids and kind of being a role model. Even if I was just a role model for one child, it was definitely the most important.
Well, your dad is chief of security here. Are the guys afraid to date you?
I think a little. I think they get a little intimidated by him, but he's actually a pretty nice guy when he comes down to a guy that he likes, you know.
Does he like any of the guys that you've dated so far?
Yeah, I think so. He thinks I have pretty good judgment. He's raised me to, you know, pick the right kind, so I don't bring home any, like, bad hood rat or anything like that, so.
So has any of the football players approached you?
No, I'm friends with a few, but I'm really close with number 4, Kari Darlington. But we're all friends, so.
What is a bad hood rat?
I don't know, you know, just boys who act obnoxious, you know, still act like they're 5 years old and they're really like 20, you know.
Thanks a lot, Ashley. Hey, guys, back to you up in the booth.
You know what? She was describing you a hood rat.
No, now we know why she stayed away from the press box. Pops is keeping away from bad boys. That's quality stuff.
That was fun.
Proving once again, though, how much talent away from the fields are on America's historically black colleges.
Hey, look, we got to go ahead and put some shout-outs to people to make sure that when they do come to the MEAC College Football Saturday game, when we're in your town like we're going to be at South Carolina State, we want to see some banners. We want to know who had the best band. We want to know who had the best cheerleaders, the best marching band, the best fans.
And the best tailgating food, of course.
That's right. So we're going to be out looking for you, so don't forget. Mark Gray, Ronnie Duncan coming to look.
And
passes it.
That was a backward pass.
That was a backward pass, so that was a fumble.
Or was it?
Let's see how the officials rule. Yes, it was. That was a fumble on the play, and being there and being alert was Bynum. Nakia Bynum, watch him one more time.
That's a lack of concentration that time by everybody in Delaware State. I think that's Mims that time that's out there who just has got to fall on the ball. The ball is clearly behind the line of scrimmage. It's a live ball. It's a mental mistake brought on by frustration.
What you can say in reference to this learning process in the first game of the year for Delaware State, they have given too many opportunities.
Well, look, this guy's a senior. There is no excuse for that. Seniors are not supposed to make that mistake. First game of the season or not, you've played 3 years in the system. You've been through 30 games now. You have to fall on the ball. I mean, we're not asking for a flank right, trap left, X slot, Z trap. Fall on the football.
You can say that, but you got to keep one thing in mind. I got to agree with this one theory. It's not the same coach. It's a different system, and things work differently. These kids are trying to learn the best that they can. Right now, they're frustrated. They have been pounded in the entire second half of this game, and they're trying to come back. When you're in a situation like that and you're trying to come back, you rush your attempts. You rush things to happen because you feel like maybe if we get down the end zone, maybe if we score, we can get some momentum and things can turn around. Remember, they came into this game extremely pumped up. Delaware State didn't have no chance, according to most of the experts, of beating FAMU. But in the first half of that football game, you and I were both encouraged by what we saw, 21-14. The second half, all FAMU, 42-14 mark. And even though he should have caught the ball, I can understand why sometimes things happen.
The preceding message brought to you by Ronnie Duncan was him in his best Mike McCurry role as Jacquay Nelamy scores his second touchdown
of the game. A 5-yard touchdown. Thanks a lot.
Mr. McCurry. That's right. You can be my press secretary. Here, look, folks, just Quinn Gray. When everything's going your way, you just play pitch and catch with your All-America receiver, and that's his second touchdown of the afternoon. And you know something? For a guy that needs about 1,100 yards to break a record, this is a great way to come out of the blocks. He could be approaching about 200 yards now in terms of total, yards receiving.
All right, the point after is good, and we have an exciting, big-time, put it on the board, football game, 49-14, as the FAMU Rattlers are putting it on, 49-14. First time out. You know what? I remember looking at some scores last season, and the fans remember, look, they look so cool, see?
Yeah, it's like, okay, another day at the ballpark.
Another day, you know, I mean, hey, 49 points, you know. They waiting for Coach Billy Joe to do the 100.
No, I don't think he'll do it in conference. I think he's saving that for like another trip.
Oh, pay back to Youngstown State?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, well,
he'll probably max out this year around 70. And that's Coach Chico Williams, one of those guys that I was talking about earlier in the broadcast, who was part of a contingent of coaches along with Jeff Braxton, who's the offensive coordinator now at Delaware State. Had some big Labor Day upset victories when he was coaching at the D2 level at Morehouse over teams like Howard. So sooner or later, the tide will definitely shift here at Delaware State. May take a year or two, a couple of recruiting classes, but sooner or later you're going to have more guys like Deshaun Dennis and fewer guys who are getting burned as we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years.
Once again, we've got exciting action. Like I said, next week we've got, of course, Savannah State traveling to Orangeburg, South Carolina to take on the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. The week after that, a game that's normally reserved for the end of the season, Morgan and Howard.
Yeah, but Morgan has the big-time schedule this year, going to the Bahamas to take on Bethune. Who can we lobby with and see if we can make that trip next year?
Well, I'm sure the commissioner is around.
Oh, we can swim. Oh, yes. You know, we have such a wonderful crew. Our crack staff is just right there all the time to offer up solutions. And the opportunity for me to drive to the Bahamas or to swim, I just may take them up on that.
Hey, 49-14. It is 1:42 left just before the end of the third quarter.
I just want to know who's picking up my tab.
Stop patting me on the back. I don't know yet. Marcus Foster with the carry. He picks up about 3 yards on the play.
And so right now, if you're Delaware State, you're just hoping for something positive right now. You have an opportunity right here to work on some things in a game situation. And theoretically, this has become a full contact 11-on-11 scrimmage for the remaining 16 and a half minutes of this contest.
A season full of question marks and anticipation for Delaware State after finishing 4-4 last year. Blacknall comes in here with a positive attitude. It was displayed in the momentum in which you saw in the first half. I wish them the very best in the rest of the season.
They're going to be fine. I mean, remember, you stepping up in caliber immediately when you take on a Florida A&M, man. Delaware State is definitely a work in progress.
All right, that was Galen King. He took the ball to the 45-yard line. That will make it third down and 2. 49 seconds to the end of the third quarter.
And now if you're Rashawn Matthews, you just want to see if you can lead your team on a drive down the field and score a touchdown.
But if you measure a game like this as your barometer and you say to yourself, we're taking on among the elite of the MEAC, then perhaps things aren't all that bad. There's King. King across the 50-yard line. That's good enough for a first down. King takes it to about the 47-yard line.
That's like a little half reverse action off the sweep play. And that's a staple of the wing T. When Hampton, a couple of years ago, was just rolling over the opposition, boy, their backs were running this play almost to perfection. Start lining up as a bit of a wing on the far side, bring it back to the near side, bust it off into the secondary. But you got to have the big nasties up front getting it done. And on that play, that's what the Hornets did.
They're going to try to get off one more play before the end of the third quarter. And to give that time was to Kevin Hanks. And Kevin Hanks close to a first down, maybe 9 yards on the play. That will do it for the end of the third quarter. We've got one more quarter of football left to play. It is 49 for the FAMU Rattlers. And Delaware State is trying to mount a comeback. Will they have enough left? We'll find out when the MEAC College Football Saturday continues.
Saturn of Woodbridge, your neighborhood dealer located off of Route 1, Woodbridge, Virginia. Stop by for your test drive today.
If someone had told me years ago my hair could grow back, I wouldn't believe it.
Look, this is my own hair, and it'll grow for the rest of my life.
We simply take the hair that is permanent and transplant it to where you are losing it.
Microsurgical hair transplantation and the procedures practiced at HRG allow follicular units as small as 1 hair at a time to be transplanted. The result? Coverage where you are thinning, and a new hairline if you need it.
The good thing is you can get your hair back. You just need to find out about it.
The first step is to educate yourself. My staff and I will explain every proven method of replacing your hair.
Believe it. This is where I was losing my hair, and now it's growing back.
Are you ready for your hair to grow back? Call HRG now. Simply leave your name and address, and we'll send you our free color booklet. Don't wait. Call the toll-free number now.
Believe it.
I want an investment that is guaranteed to stay ahead of inflation, like the I-bond.
Well, we don't offer them.
That's safe, like the I-bond.
But
that saves money on my state and local income taxes.
Wow.
And will let me get started with as little as $50.
Like the I-bond.
Right.
It was a game that started out great, and it started to fizzle down the drain for the Delaware State Hornets. 49-14, FAMU has the lead, but still the cheerleaders continue to hold the energy and keep the school spirit. Remember, there's a lot more games to be played and a lot of lessons that could have been learned from a game like this.
And still a few more that can be learned in this last 15 minutes for Delaware State. And one lesson they just learned on that play is you don't throw a pass into 4 defensive backs.
All right. MEAC College Football 2000 is produced by MyTeam.com Productions exclusively for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and is authorized outlets. Any use, reuse, or retransmission of this broadcast without the written consent of the MEAC Commissioner's Office is prohibited. He's still in there. I'm talking about Rashawn Matthews trying to make things happen. 3rd down, 1 to go, ball on the 40-yard line. Matthews back to pass. Matthews goes up top. And the pass was incomplete. Trying to do the little curl there was Barry Mitchell. However, Mr. Hart was there, Troy Hart, to stop the progress.
And the reason he wasn't able to really get enough zip on that ball, Ronnie, was because of the pressure that Florida A&M has been able to get, certainly from the outside for the entire second half. If there has been one critical adjustment in the second half, it has been in the relentless pressure that the Rattlers defense has been able to get on the Hornet quarterback, Rashawn Matthews. But King this time will pick up the 1st down, so a small victory for DSU.
All right, 14:40 left to go in the game. You know, Mark, I must admit, first time working with you, and I know we're not done. I've enjoyed it tremendously, man. You are among the best as they come. I can see why they talk so highly about the Mark Gray, man. And obviously, for those of us who get an opportunity to listen to you coast to coast, you keep doing a good job on the radio. Oh, we can't talk about you?
Nah.
Okay. We'll talk about the MEAC every time I'm on your show.
Well, then we will continue to do that. And look, that's a great effort that time. You know, it won't go into the books as nothing more than a 1st down game, but give props to Tommy Mims for busting off a couple of tackles, keeping the legs moving, and not quitting on a play like that. You know, your team is down by 35 points. Things aren't looking well right now, and you find the mark, the character, or the heart of a player on plays like that. That quality stuff right there from Mr. Mims. See, these positive things that you build on. And thus far, this has been a positive drive, Ronnie.
It has been. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Matthews with the give. This time, he's brought down, and I'm talking about a gang of tacklers. And as they say, on the hip-hop scene, where my boys at, they all showed up on the tackle scene.
Yeah, they left him that time. William Ross that time, who's spelling Graylin King. Boy, he paid for it.
One thing we have to admit, we have been watching, at least I have over the last few years, one of the great coaches in college football history, and especially in African-American college football history, and Coach Billy Joe. You know, I was so happy last season to be a part of the fact of his 200th win there at Hampton University. We were able to bring you that game, and later in the show, we're going to show you some of the games we're going to be having on our 11-game schedule of the MEAC Game of the Week, and that is a touchdown, getting into the end zone very easily. You see him right there. I'm talking about McCants, Darian McCants, and I tell you what, that was a type of catch I thought he could have made a lot today.
Right.
But you've got to give credit where credit is due. Coach Blacknall and this kid stayed with it, and you talked about it, Mark Gray, a positive, and we do mean positive, scoring drive.
It's a character quarter for Delaware State. And this, my friends, just outstanding concentration by McCants. He's shown the ability to get deep. He's shown the ability to go across the middle. And he's also shown the ability on this afternoon to make a tough catch. Put everything into the mix. It's been an outstanding day for Donarian McCants. And the point after touchdown is good. So at least Delaware State has something to feel good about.
All right, we'll come back with much more. There's some scoring left. 13 minutes and 6 seconds left. It's the MEAC College Football Saturday.
Travel provided by U.S. Airways, offering the Dividend Miles program with preferred levels of membership and benefits. With U.S. Airways, you can redeem your miles to over 500 destinations worldwide.
To my sweetie Gladys, who has been my rock, I leave our home and all of my stocks and bonds.
Such a good provider.
To Melvin Jr., our family business, and the Lincoln Continental.
I love you, Dad.
And to my younger son, Trey, I leave you the one thing that brought us together. My Wittenauer.
The Wittenauer? Yo, that's fat, Pops.
Wittenauer. Fine watches, of course.
When you've been fortunate to achieve in life, it's important to share that success with others. I feel strongly about that. I believe the folks at Target stores do too. When they talk to me about kids fighting cancer at the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and the idea of building a place for families to stay, I knew it needed to happen. Today, Target House is real. It's a success story from a store that donates over $1 million a week back to the community. Sharing success is something I admire.
Travel provided by U.S. Airways, offering the Dividend Miles program with preferred levels of membership and benefits. With U.S. Airways, you can redeem your miles to over 500 destinations worldwide.
Established in 1970, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference made up of 11 schools with a common purpose of pursuing competitive excellence in Division I AA. And beginning, I tell you what, 30th year of competition and operations, and they have done an outstanding job. That's why you're watching MEAC College Football Saturday. We're back to live football action. FAMU once again pushing the attack. And that was Isaac Brown on the return, and he brings it out to about the 20-yard line.
Sorry about that, Ronnie. I'm just wondering how long before Billy Joe goes to the second unit to get them some work. And I'm just wondering right now, do I see number 17 making his way back on the field? I do not. So I think Quinn Gray's day is done. And if I am not mistaken, at the helm of the Rattler offense right now is senior quarterback Renald Drummond, one of those talented prospects out of North Miami High School, who'll run this sophisticated Rattler attack for the balance of the afternoon.
That Gulf Coast offense, you know what? They just reload, baby.
Yep.
Now let's take a look at that last touchdown one more time. It's time to take a look at our National Car Rental scoring drive. And I tell you what, it was one of those plays that you look at and you say to yourself, what a touchdown. McCants taking it from Matthews, and it was a pretty play. And once again, we'll have it for you a little later. 12:47 left to play in the game. 49-21, that's our score. And like Mark Gray said, we've got a new quarterback in store, and the Rattlers continue to move the chains. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Get off the block! Come on, get off the block! Get to the ball!
Again, once again,
we have a back who is not listed on the roster, Ronnie. I think that's the very talented freshman that everybody was talking so highly about coming into the season, Michael Leslie. I believe that's Leslie down there. Check that. His name is Baker. So Baker in there now getting the job done for Florida A&M.
Craig Baker, he is not. Craig Baker is number 76. Hey, let's go back downstairs to Donna Hopkins, who's got a very interesting individual she's talking with. Donna?
Hey, guys, I've got Gloria Teller. She's the mom of DeMar Bowes, the wide receiver number 84. And as you can see, she's wearing his jersey. She said that she had to be here today. Why was that, Mom?
Because I'm a very supportive mother. I love my child, and I'll do anything for him.
You said that you're the mom for the team.
Yes, I am a mom for the team. I make sure they eat their food properly. I give them snacks when they travel, and I also try to help with the academics and tutor them in school.
How far did you travel today?
I traveled from Tallahassee, Florida. It was a very long flight. Missed my first flight, got the second flight, and arrived here at 3 o'clock this morning.
And you traveled to all the games?
Yes, I do. Every game. I'll be there to every game this year. No matter how hard it is, how difficult it takes, I will be there to support my child.
Thanks a lot. Hey, guys, back to you up in the booth.
Well, you know what? She's feeding the team. Why don't you come and feed us?
Can we get part of that meal budget?
Hey, look, Hops. Ask her, can we get some of that food?
Hey, Mom, they said that can they get some of that food you're cooking up, because I know you throw down.
I throw down, seriously. You can have some anytime.
All right, we can get her at what? When we go to
October 14th,
my birthday.
October 14th, but guys, you know what? She may have something stashed away for me down here now.
Oh, lucky you. First she gets to meet the Queen, then she gets the free meal. You get the feeling.
She's having a whole lot of fun and a great addition to what we're doing here, MEAC College Football Saturday. All right, 49-21, 11:43 remaining before we can get ready to start preparing for next week's game. And then it's the week after that.
Meal, whichever comes first.
I'll tell you what, 11 exciting dates. We've got 10 more to go. 2 wildcard games and a playoff game, and you can watch them right here on MEAC College Football Saturday, 12 o'clock. All right, we'll come right back with much more of this football game. 49-21. It is the Rattlers of FAMU dominating the Hornets.
Got a family. You need to communicate. So we're going to help you out with Cellular One's Digital Edge family plans. They're great. One bill for up to 4 mobile phones, plus free phone-to-phone service. Call each other as much as you want for free. First 2 phones, $29.99 a month. Next 2, just $14.99 a month each. The more phones you get, the more you save. You get included minutes and free select mail, so you never miss a call. Cellular One's Digital Edge family plans. Start communicating with your family and save.
It's amazing. It's unprecedented. Announcing the Julian Graham pre-owned warranty. 12 months, 12,000 miles, 4-star coverage on every pre-owned vehicle in stock. At Julian Graham, our cars start as low as $59.95 with financing available. We'll even include $1,500 worth of service savings.
Hi, I'm Julian Graham, and I personally stand behind every pre-owned vehicle that I sell. That's how I know.
Nobody does what Julian Graham does. Julian Graham Chevrolet, 1 mile off I-95 on Chamberlain Avenue.
15 years ago, I rented a broom closet like this.
Put it in the oven, started making Papa John's pizzas. It was tight in there and hot, but I didn't care. I love making pizzas.
I had a simple idea. Better ingredients, better pizza. I guess people liked it.
Today, our stores are bigger and they're cooler. But one thing hasn't changed.
He still loves making pizza.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Now hiring at all 15 Richmond locations for all positions. Come by any Papa John's for an application.
It's the first game of the season in the MEAC, and Delaware State is losing at home. FAMU, Florida A&M, 49-21. But you know what? A lot could be learned from that. And here's a shot of a young man that was having a tremendous game until his shoulder brought him down.
They've been dropping like flies literally this afternoon, Ronnie. You know, and that was just the worst of them all right there. When you lose a back who's having a phenomenal day like Lourdes, it could have been devastating were this a closer game.
When in Dover, Delaware, you should stay where we stay. One of the best accommodations around, the Howard Johnson's Express at 561 North DuPont Highway in Dover, Delaware. The number is there on your screen, 301-678-8900. Make your reservations and tell them that Ronnie and Mark sent you. Second and 6. And you can see that's Mr. King, Raylan King, with a big gain, and that's a first down. And once again, you've got to like what you're seeing right now. I tell you, the Hornets, they're not giving up, and I like the effort, and I like the intuition that Coach Blacknell is ensuing upon these kids and instituting these kids that you never give up despite the score. And we may lose this game, but we're going to show some positives. And you know what? Rashawn Matthews is still out there, and I think that's a good sign as well.
Well, I really like the skill players Delaware State has. I'm just beginning to look at this team, and you may have to rethink that wings and things philosophy because they have so many talented skill players. I've been impressed with King. I really like Horsey. Tommy Mims has been effective, and you know, Mr. McCants has been almost uncoverable. So they've got a nice mix of skill players, and I think you got to be a little bit more aggressive, Coach. I think you got to put those guys in positions where you force defenders to have to check them because they've got size and speed, and those are two elements that are key on this level of college football.
I tell you what, Coach Blacknell looked like a genius in the first quarter. Things started to fall apart, but you know what? He's still hanging in there with these kids, and they're still trying to play football. Not on that, man. Anytime Mr. Daly's around the ball, he's one of the best defensive ends in the country. I tell you what, I love watching Jerron Daly. Talk about the takedown, and you know what? He doesn't even get any wrestling points for this one.
No, this is a move that would make The Rock feel good, Ronnie. I'm telling you, just bringing out the meat cleaver and hauling him in. Daly with 34 unassisted tackles last year, but look at that, 18 sacks. 18 of them. That's at least 2-3 sacks a game. For a team, I might add, that is known for their offensive prowess a lot more so than
3rd and 10, ball on the 39. That ball is up. That ball, was it caught? No, it wasn't. Now, Mark, without a doubt, that's a ball that Albert Hosey should have held on to.
Exactly. Neil Colsey back there in coverage that time. But again, Hosey has the size and the strength advantage. You got to put yourself in a position. It's almost like getting in position for a rebound. Oh, man.
Had the defender beat. Ball had a lot of air under.
It was underthrown. But again, when you have a size advantage, you got to win that physical battle. You know, if you're 6'3", 6'4", about 210, and the cornerback is about 5'9", 5'10", 180, you got to win that physical battle.
All right, Aaron, ready to punt?
And that's a nice special teams play.
That is an excellent special teams play. And the man there was Stephen Brown, sophomore out of Norfolk, Virginia, Norview High School.
And that's indicative of a team right there that has not quit. Things aren't going their way right now. But watch it again. Now, you can make an argument that Isaac Brown doesn't make a good decision by not at least fair catching that ball, so it allows the defender to come down and tap that ball back to the 1-yard line, and it is down. That's just, those are hustle plays. When a team quits, they don't make those plays. Del State may be losing, but they have not quit.
Tell you what, he talked about his special teams play, and he felt like if any part of his team was the most important aspect, and I'm talking about Coach Ben Blacknall, he said special teams was the one area that he concentrates on and has the highest priority for, and you can see that working. The thing about it is that they're going to hurt some feelings in this conference. They're going to bust somebody's behind when they think, oh, Delaware State's on the schedule, that's an easy win. Don't let the score fool you, 49-21, and we've got Del State again here at Del State. As a matter of fact, it'll be our 4th game of the season, so hopefully we'll have something to talk about again.
It'll be Del State, it'll be Hampton, it'll be two teams in basically rebuilding modes, and, you know, Hampton still has Montrell Coley, but they don't have Roy Johnson at quarterback, and you don't replace a field general like Roy Johnson. Roy Johnson won games at Hampton a lot during his career on savvy and guile. And until Hampton can find somebody that can, you know, run that offense with his kind of efficiency, it's going to be that should be an interesting ball game here in 3 weeks. Teams will have games up under their belts right then. We'll have a feel for what they're both about. That's going to be quite an interesting contest here on MEAC College Football Saturdays.
All right. As you can see, they want to throw the football because, man, if he didn't, that would have been a safety.
Well, I'm just wondering, you know, and the officials won't make this call, but that was clearly intentional grounding. There was nobody.
Look at big number 74. You see him there? That is a junior transfer, Salvador Elias. He's 6'7", 380 pounds for the Rattlers.
We were coming in.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
now, see, if he comes over to your house for dinner, you make sure you buy about 2 months worth of food. But they tell me he's a great kid. He gets along with everybody on this team, and he was so happy to be a part of this team. And you know what? They're expecting some big things from him next year.
That offers up a very interesting question, Ronnie. How does Bo's mom feed him? I mean, you got to shop for that guy on his own. You got to go to your local store and just get like 2 or 3 bags of groceries just for him, just for his appetizer. It's a big young fella. Boy, I bet your training table at FAM, boy. Woo!
Tell you what, the bigger they are, that's a big fella. Look at him.
Yeah, the bigger they are, the more they eat.
You know, and
I wonder, does mom cook for the training table?
I can tell you what, them greens are probably good. Here's our man, Mr. Dennis. Deshaun Dennis finally brought down at around 27-yard line. We're going to come back with much more of this game. You're watching the Mid-Eastern Conference Athletic Conference Game of the Week. 49-21, FAMU.
Hey there. Time for a holiday. So switch off your computers and take a national holiday with National Car Rental. Spend some time with National Heroes. Or visit a national treasure. Or join the National Football League. But wherever you go, let National Car Rental get you there fast. With special low rates on minivans for only $229.99 per week nationwide. Or only $289.99 per week in New York. National Car Rental. What are you waiting for? Let's go!
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage. And
If you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You've always trusted us with your letters, your bills, your packages. Now, we're bringing the security and confidence of the real world into the virtual one. Introducing the U.S. Postal Service's e-bill pay. Enroll now to receive, pay, and send your bills online with the service you already know and trust.
Fly like an eagle into the future.
All right, we're back with more live action. The MEAC College Football Saturday. Mark Gray, Ronnie Duncan, along with Donna Hopkins on the sideline. It's been an interesting game, and one in which Coach Ben Blacknall and his team just will not give up. As you can see there, with the hard running and going ahead, William Ross for the Hornets. And I tell you what, man, they're not giving up despite the fact the score is 49-21 FAMU.
Graylin King is just a hard, tough runner, and as witnessed by the Florida A&M defender being down on the field, he packs a wallop when you try to bring him down, and he gets props that time. A tap on the helmet does Ross from his coach, Chico Williams. But I tell you, you talk about delivering a blow. That's exactly what happened, and I cannot make out the number of the Florida A&M defender down, but I'm quite sure he feels like Quinn Gray did in the first half after he got his bell rung.
Looks like it might be Carlos Moore. He's a freshman defensive back out of Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. Let's go downstairs to Donna Hopkins, who's got a man that we see a familiar face and has a big impact in the NFL as well as the MEAC. Donna?
Hey, guys, you know what? We're not on camera, but I'm with Johnny Gear. He's the NFL referee, and he's also the supervisor for the MEAC. Talk about your start in the MEAC.
Well, this is where I got my beginning way back when. I can't remember the year, somewhere around 1972, 1973. And I worked in the MEAC from then up until I went to the NFL in 1981.
What do you see as far as the most improved as far as officiating here in the MEAC?
I think the officials now have developed a philosophy that I've tried to instill in the last 3 years. We're letting the guys play, and we're calling fouls that affect the play rather than being technical with our foul calling.
How important is it to get the guys out on Friday night to bring them in for meetings?
Well, they're coming in on Friday night because each week we now evaluate their game film from the week before. So on Fridays when they get to the game sites, they get what I call their report card from the week before, where every play in their previous game has been graded. And they get a chance to see what we consider good calls, poor calls, and good no calls.
Artie is doing a great job with the cameras. Is that something that you all coach them on?
Well, Artie's not camera shy, let's put it that way. No, but I've tried working with the referees to get them to present a better picture of what's going on the field so that you guys in the media are not guessing at what we're doing. We're informing you as to what we're doing.
How does it feel to get more FaceTime than Dennis Miller on the first game?
I wish my pockets were as deep.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, guys, back to you up in the booth.
All right, thanks a lot, Donna. Johnny, one of the best out there, if not the best.
You're right. There are a lot of officials that seem to lose control of their NFL games. A guy by the name of, what's his name, Phil Luckett, seems to always lose control of his games. Never happens with Johnny Greer. Johnny Greer is always in command of his games, and one thing about it, he gets you out of there quickly.
There's a new quarterback in the game right now for the Delaware State Hornets. It's a freshman, Nick Gallardi. Gallardi with the give from Maurice Foster. Foster doesn't get much.
Well, I think that's a good move. You've gotten Rashawn Matthews some quality playing time. He played an admirable first half. You know, the offensive line kind of sold him out a couple of times in the second half. You know, there was some pressure that got back there, led to a deflection, which was an interception. There was another pass that went off his receiver's hands that led to another interception, and those became golden scoring opportunities for Florida A&M.
And Gallardi is the future. Let's face it, this is Matthews' last year. Great opportunity, and an opportunity for this young man to get about 6 minutes worth of work in and to run this offense. 2nd and 10. Gallardi turns around. Gallardi's going to pass this ball, and it's intercepted.
Well, let's see first. Oh, yeah, it is an interception. Good job out of you, boy, because there was a big-time battle in there for that possession.
And coming up with the interception, a man who has been talked about a lot today, John Battle.
He battled to get that interception.
I tell you, Gallardi thought he had his tight end, and all of a sudden, John Battle comes out of nowhere and grabs it.
Best thing about a freshman is that he becomes a sophomore, and that was a freshman pass right there. I mean, this kid threw into triple coverage. The receiver had a snowball's chance of making the reception, and he tried to force it in.
Well, see, back in West Virginia, where he played high school ball, that worked on Friday nights.
This is the MEAC. It's not going to work on Saturday afternoons.
Hey, he's going to get better. And
yeah,
the thing about it is that you don't know success until you've met failure. This young man will look back and say, daggone, my first pass was an interception. But you know what? 3 years from now, you'll be talking about Gallardi and telling me how great he is.
Indeed, and we have Eric Williams down there on the field right now for, well, check that. That's not Eric Williams. That would be, I think, Torrey Warren. Exactly. So they continue to drop like flies here in Dover. So, it's the worst time for injuries when you're comfortably ahead in a contest. You don't want to see any of your critical parts end up injured. And that's basically what we're looking at right now with Florida A&M. Of course, the biggest blow to this point has to be Kelsey Lourdes, but Byrne is over there warming up on the side right now for Florida A&M. And I'm quite sure we'll see him for a series or two, as we probably will see Doug Pasden as well. So the weather is obviously a factor in Hampton, Ronnie. This game between Hampton and New Hampshire has been suspended because of lightning down on the shores of Virginia Beach.
Take it down.
They're waiting as we speak to resume that contest down in Hampton. So we thought that something about the weather in Virginia over the last week. Remember Sunday, the Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech game was canceled on account of lightning and a monsoon which hit Blacksburg. And now that same bad weather has affected Hampton University. But Drummond is still in at quarterback, Ronnie, so we have not seen Byrne as of yet.
2nd and 9, ball on the 5-yard line. Drummond taking his time. Give to O.J. O.J. gains about maybe 2 yards on the play.
Just kept the feet moving and dancing to the outside, and suddenly, perhaps one of the big factors in this season has become number 30 for Florida A&M. Now, it looked like Kelsey Lourdes was the heir apparent to Kenny Williams. He looked like he had control from a rushing standpoint of the offense and had eclipsed the 100-yard mark before he dislocated his shoulder. But right now, a great part of the success of the remainder of the season apparently is going to fall on the shoulders of O.J. Marchbanks and the cast of thousands in the offensive backfield.
Drummond rolling out. Drummond almost had a receiver, and he's lucky that ball went to the end zone, out of bounds. There's a possibility that the Hornets could have come up with an interception.
T.J. Hines, JC transfer, was the intended receiver on that play, Ronnie. And so Delaware State is able to hold and force Florida A&M into a punting situation from their end zone. And, from the theater of good things, stop them here, get good field position, perhaps get another score by the end of the game.
FAMU has one mission and goal. That's to win the MEAC. Let's see what happens. They're in a good start right now. 49-21. That's our score. A little over 4 minutes left to go. We'll come back.
When you've been fortunate to achieve in life, it's important to share that success with others. I feel strongly about that. I believe the folks at Target stores do too. When they talk to me about kids fighting cancer at the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and the idea of building a place for families to stay, I knew it needed to happen. Today, Target House is real. A success story from a store that donates over $1 million a week back to the community. Sharing success is something I admire.
It's just a bat and a ball.
It's just a stick and some ice. It's just a Saturday morning. Just a bunch of players, parents, coaches, and fans coming together in a whole new way online for team schedules, team messages, team spirit. MyTeam.com. Enjoy the game.
Remember college?
I bet you do.
I bet you do.
Remember the highs, the lows,
The pressure.
the parties?
Are you kidding me? You're going to risk your hard-earned cash
Take food off your table. Off your table?
betting on
18-year-old kids?
kids.
You might as well.
Throw your money away.
Fool.
Fool.
So watch our games for this kind of
This
action.
kind of action.
Not this.
Not this.
Because if you're banking on me,
To make your day?
don't
Don't.
bet on it. Don't bet on it.
MEAC College Football Saturdays 2000 is sponsored in part by USPS, Nike, Xerox, Target, Coca-Cola, U.S. Marine Corps, New Urban Entertainment, Greyhound, Whitnauer, National Car Rental, and U.S. Airways.
Once again, it started out a hot and heavy game. It even was muggy around here. Starting to cool down, and so has the scoring. 49 points on the board for the FAMU Rattlers, and the question is, what's next for both of these teams, Mark Gray?
Well, next up for the Delaware State Hornets is Elon College, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond. In a non-conference game, opportunity for them to basically get themselves well, work on a few things, and go about the business of trying to make sure that they don't continue to make the same mistakes that they made in this contest.
Look who's back in the game. Sean Matthews.
Trying to get one more.
Oh, wow. I tell you what, they're still hitting hard despite the fact that we're toward the end of this game.
That is just a punishing physical hit that time. Boy, I tell you, man, they are still bringing it on the defensive side of the ball. Are the Rattlers.
William Ross and John Pulliman are the backfield. 2nd and 7. Ball on the 39-yard line. The give was to William Ross.
Ross is a good-looking quick back. Got speed to get outside, got power to run up inside. Nice addition to this wing T or wings and things offensive philosophy that you will be hearing a whole lot about all season long, because I get the feeling this team is going to scare a few people. And we're talking about what's next for Florida A&M, your alma mater. That's right, next week it's FAMU and Morgan State.
3rd and 5. Ball on the 41. Matthews still with the ball, and Matthews has a reception to number 10, Alvin Horsey.
If Horsey had made a couple of those catches in the first half, we probably would have been talking about a totally different second half. Delaware State was awful close to going up by 2 touchdowns in this game. And I argue that on that 4th down and 1 in the first half, where they were around midfield and they were not able to score, that sort of opened the floodgates for Florida A&M. And basically the Snakes haven't looked back.
All right, 1st and 10, ball on the 47-yard line. Sean Matthews is back in the game after going out for one series where they let Gallardi take it. And this time running the football. Reggie Watkins picked up about 7 yards on the play. Now it's time for our U.S. Marine Corps players of the game, and it is Mr. McCants and Mr. Jacque Nunley, and I think well represented because both of those young men had some huge games receiving the football for their teams.
Nunley in particular with the backbreaker at the end of the first half.
Another first down. That was Maurice Foster, junior running back. And he's got the ball on the 31-yard line, and they continue to move it down. 1:23 left to go, and hats off to Coach Bucknall.
And
Blacknall, excuse me.
Let's go to the campus vernacular, and I will say that I am sprung on Mr. McCants. McCants can play. I think he'll have a big season this year. I think he's going to be a big factor in the Delaware State offense because he can do a lot of things.
Once again, they're pounding the football and having some success in doing so. That's George Pullman, number 35. 2nd and 10, 31. And then less than a minute to play in this football game.
Well, we got a minute. Let's give props to the Delaware State Sports Information Director, Dennis Jones, for an outstanding job of making our first visit here to Dover a memorable one, and look forward to coming back in a few weeks.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job and made our jobs a lot easier.
Boy, did he. And let's talk about the athletic director, Hallie Gregory, who not only offered up a stroke of genius, in my opinion, by hiring Ben Blacknall, but you can see that Delaware State is taking the steps necessary to become amongst the MEAC's elite once again. It may take a year, may take 2 years or so. Delaware State looks like, at least from an attitude standpoint, they definitely are moving in the right direction.
That was almost another reception once again. And Matthews just does not give up. 25 seconds left to go, and Horsey almost came up with a nice reception. He's had a few that I must admit he should have held on to.
Indeed. You know, he had a rough afternoon, and your seniors have to step up and make those big catches. And this is one of those situations where, you know, Mr. Horsey will look at the tape on Monday or Tuesday and go like, geez, I had a couple of plays that could have been the difference in this game.
4th and 4. And it was intended for Horsey again, and he was upended by the Rattlers defense. That was Brandon Walthour.
Well, now we can focus our attention on South Carolina State hosting Savannah State next week. Savannah State was one of the teams that tried to get into the SWAC and it toyed with the notion of moving into this particular conference, and we'll see if they're ready for it. I got my doubts.
Hey, it's another win for Coach Billy Joe. There he is. He's all smiles. And to his lovely wife, who's a big fan, I just want to say, hey, he's coming home another big-time winner. And he's bringing it all to you. 49-21. That will perhaps be our final score. And, yes, it will be, as the clock will wind out. It's been a great time. I'm telling you right now, the folks at Delaware State can say to themselves, we've got some good days coming, especially the way we played FAMU at the first part of this football game. We're going to have our closing comments and wrap it all up for you. Final score, 49-21. We've got to say goodbye. We'll see you next week in South Carolina for the MEAC College Football Saturday. For Mark Gray, I'm Ronnie Duncan and Donna Hopkins. Goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you in South Carolina.
Saturn of Woodbridge, your neighborhood dealer located off of Route 1, Woodbridge, Virginia. Stop by for your test drive today.
We try to create a little bit of Virginia and a little bit of Scotland here and give you something that was different.
I want an investment that is guaranteed to stay ahead of inflation, like the I-bond.
Well, we don't offer them.
That's safe, like the I-bond.
But
that saves money on my state and local income taxes.
Wow.
And will let me get started with as little as $50.
Like the I-bond.
Right.
Football is brought to you by AT&T Broadband.
It's amazing. It's unprecedented. Announcing the Julian Graham pre-owned warranty. 12 months, 12,000 miles, 4-star coverage on every pre-owned vehicle in stock. At Julian Graham, our cars start as low as $59.95 with financing available. We'll even include $1,500 worth of service savings.
Hi, I'm Julian Graham, and I personally stand behind every pre-owned vehicle that I sell. That's how I know.
Nobody does what Julian Graham does. Julian Graham Chevrolet, 1 mile off I-95 on Chamberlain Avenue.
We now join our next program, already in progress.